Good morning and welcome to our 112th weekly webcast. If this is the first time you're joining us, welcome. If you've been with us before, welcome back. And so the way the call works is this is 3 hours long, and within 24 hours of the call being finished, my team will go ahead and go through all the questions, and it'll create clickable links so that after the call is done, when you go to the description field of the YouTube video, you can get immediate access to all the videos. Yeah. And so thank you for your time. I appreciate it. So before we get started today, I think what I want to do is I want to quickly show you the MBA degree program and how to learn more about this product. So the program starts on December 14th of this year, the gold and the platinum versions. And I'll explain the difference between both of them in a second. But unlike other MBA degree programs, there's a 30-day, 100% money-back guarantee. And the cost is a heck of a lot lower, too, than most MBA degree programs, actually almost all of them. And it's completely up to date. It's very flexible as well, the whole MBA degree program. You can take it on your own terms. Now, you can do it live with me if you want to. Now, we start December 14th, and we go for 1 year. And we do live calls on Mondays and Tuesdays, and time zone 1 is from 9 a.m. till noon, plus hours and hours of Q&A on Mondays and Tuesdays. Again, that's Monday and Tuesday, 9 a.m. until noon, plus lots of Q&A. That's time zone 1. Time zone 2, and it's always my time, Pacific time. Time zone 2 is Monday and Tuesday as well, but it's from 4 p.m. until 7 p.m. plus Q&A, my time zone, which is Pacific. And if you can't make the call, what you can do live is you can watch the replays, and you have access to it forever. You can take as long as you want to finish it. The minimum amount of time is 1 year, but you can take as long as you want to. It's pass-fail as well, and you'll have a great opportunity to network with other students. Now, there's 5 main tracks, and you have to take all of the main courses, and there will be electives as well. So that's me. So I teach based on real-life practical experience. And actually, if you do the platinum version of the program, I actually personally, nobody else, me, not my staff, me, I will write your whole LinkedIn profile for you. It's fun for me to help too. So there's 5 main tracks. Number 1 is finance and accounting. And you can go to this website here, harounmba.com, to watch preview lectures and learn more as well. And there's a 30-day money-back guarantee after we start. So if you buy today, then you get your money back up until 30 days after we start. So we start December 14th, which means you get your money back all the way through January 14th of 2021. So finance and accounting is the first main track. Then we got entrepreneurship, personal growth, and then we have sales, marketing, and communications, where I teach you state-of-the-art technologies as well and social media stuff. Even if you don't know anything about programming, I teach you everything from scratch. It's fun. Then we've got EMS, economics management, and strategy as well. There's lots of testimonials here, or you can just go to LinkedIn, and there's 140 alumni from my program already. You can go and just reach out to them if you want to. Yeah, ask them what the negatives are first, and then ask them for the positives. You get a lot of free books, all that great stuff. And then you can register today if you want to. Again, it starts December 14th. And so the Platinum program is 300 hours of classes, plus 200 hours of optional Q&A, plus 3 hours of one-on-one time with me in 8 different sessions that are 20 minutes each, either in person or we can do it over Zoom. And the gold version is a bit cheaper, $500 cheaper. That's a lot cheaper, actually. And it does not include the one-on-one time with me. So if you have additional questions, you can go to harounmba.com and scroll through this web page here. Or you can just ask me here during the weekly call. And thank you very much, as always. All right, I'm going to try something a little bit different today, guys. So I got a green screen. I'm trying to make it look real. Yeah. All right. Cool. Let me know what you guys think. If I should do green screen or go back to the way it was before. Thanks. All right. So first up, Shasir is saying hello, good morning. Good morning to you as well. And then Manas, who's one of our amazing students from India, who published an awesome book a couple weeks ago, and I bought it and I profiled it here a few weeks ago on the air. Manas wrote, "Bonjour, my dear mentor. Hope all is well. Likewise, I hope you were wondering why the election didn't end in one day, because I was wondering. I loved your speech you gave on the conference, but I have a question." Yeah, thank you. So in terms of the election, the way it works in the United States, and this is kind of new for me, I grew up in Canada, is you have to wait until one party gets 270 of the votes. And last I checked, Biden was, and if you're watching a replay, it's now November 5th of 2020. Biden almost had 270 of the electoral votes. Yeah. It takes time to count all the ballots, though. Yeah, and the one thing about American politics that always confuses me, which I disagree with, is you can win the entire popular vote, meaning you can have more votes than the other candidates, and still lose the election. It's on a state by state basis. So it's a little bit different. Yeah. All right, thank you. And the speech that Manas is referring to was a speech I gave at a big venture capital event online. You can go to my YouTube page to check it out if you're interested. Thank you. Manas is saying the question about your speech is, how did you plan your speech, and how can you remember so much of the content? Your script hits the bullseye. Thank you. Yeah. So what I did actually was. It was one of the easier speeches I've given, only because I did it over Zoom. For COVID reasons, we're not allowed to do it in person. And so what I actually ended up doing was I ended up reading my transcript. And I teach my students in my MBA degree program lots of tricks on how to set up cheap technology so you can do it as well. So all you need is a screen, and you can get them for less than $50, which hooks up to your computer. It's HDMI. And then you just need a two-way mirror, and that's it. And I use a pedal down below to click between the slides. And let me show you what I mean, because I think this is a really helpful process. And this will work out great when you guys are interviewing too. So if we go to my YouTube channel here, I'll show you. All right, let's go to Uploads. And I'll click on the video right here. Here it is here, yeah. So this video here, and I'll make sure the sound is not on good. So what I did here was I actually had two sets of pedals. And let me turn this off of 4K so I don't consume bandwidth for this call. Yeah, so I had two sets of pedals. One set of pedals I had was to change the computer monitor there, where we see the Nelson Mandela quote there. And the other set of pedals I had was to actually change the text on the slides. So I would click to go to the next slide. Now, if you do this, you have to be aware of the fact that you can't just have it as a white screen in PowerPoint with black text. You have to reverse it. Otherwise, you'll see something like this occur. You'll see in a second, it might appear a little bit bluish. There we go. You see how I'm kind of bluish there. So you have to make sure that it's always white text on a black background. And I just click between the slides. And you don't read word for word completely. You do a bullet point format so that you can sound a little bit more natural. So you can say, moving on to, in terms of, next up, let's discuss this, that sort of thing. And those are crutches that I teach my MBA degree students as well, when it comes to interviewing as well. So anyway, that's how I did it. It wasn't that bad. And then what I did was, and I messed up though. I had a couple mistakes. So one mess up was right here. I screwed up the lighting here, but I was trying to show when I was getting ready here for the lighting. I messed that up. I was changing into Marty from Back to the Future, and we were going back in time. And all I did there was I rose my desk up. I had another pedal set up, which basically had a fog machine with a cheap light. And that's a flex capacitor in the bottom right hand corner. My son Dylan created for me out of Lego, which was fun. And it was actually really, really cheap to do. And the slider I had was called it's called Grip Gear. Yeah, is the name of the product. It's a $100 slider, and that's a DeLorean obviously there. And so I changed into Marty. And then what I did was I talked as Marty for a while, and then I switched directly into this mode here. And let me see if I can actually turn the sound on for this, because it's kind of funny. Let's see here. Actually, no, hold on, let me see. No sound. All right. So I changed from Marty into the doc really quickly here. Watch this. And then I actually fast forwarded this part here. But when I did it live, I did it a little bit too slowly. And I was talking about education in the future and how all the world's problems had been solved. And then what I did was I had that's Doc from Back to the Future, a bunch of streamers. And it was so loud when I popped them, it actually almost hurt my eardrum. But I didn't care. I was having fun, whatever it takes. Yeah. And then this is what it looked like behind the scenes. You see there? Right here. So you've got, and I'll pause here for a second. This is the slider. This here was the fog machine, which cost $19. It's just fog, not smoke. And this is the light as well. And look how messy it got as well. But we had a blast. I had a blast with it. Yeah. So anyway, that's that. And if you have additional questions about how I put that together, please let me know. But it's a pretty powerful system for you to be able to use pedals, because that way it kind of seems like you're not reading. And so if you're ever giving a speech over Zoom, or if you ever have an interview and you're asked about certain topics, you can always click through the slides using a pedal below. As well. If you have more questions about that, let me know. They're really cheap USB-based pedals, and you just map each word or each keystroke, like left to right. Thank you. All right, and I practiced a bunch too, and it was fun. And there was music in it as well, and I had an earpiece so that I could hear the music that the hundreds of thousands of people, whatever, that were watching live, heard as well, and that really actually inspired me as well. Yeah. And I made mistakes, but you got to tell yourself, I just don't care. Yeah. All right. Next up, Manas is saying, my second book is in progress, and I hope you'll have that on your table in the next 4 weeks. Nice, dude. That's amazing. At such a young age to be working on your second book already. That's impressive. All right. And then Manas is saying, to be honest with you, I'm planning something great, and it's coming up well. Thanks to you for your support and appreciation. But how should I promote a paid course now that I have 758 students from 78 countries? Yeah, on Udemy. Yeah. Congratulations on getting that course up and running. Yeah. So I think the best way to prepare to market your product is to always is to repurpose content. So what I like to do is whenever I write a book, I gut the book, and I paste one chapter. I paste one chapter per week over LinkedIn. And I make also a YouTube video out of each chapter. And YouTube is a great way to market your product in your courses as well, your Udemy courses, because YouTube is the only gold rush in history where it costs you nothing to make the product. And it's the only gold rush in history where you have immediate access to billions of potential customers at the same time. And I think that I think Gary Vaynerchuk nailed it when he said that you have to repurpose your content, meaning if you create like this weekly call you're watching right now, what happens is we repurpose this and we take the 7 best questions from this call and we create vlogs out of them for 7 days. And we create little Instagram videos as well. So that's the best way to do it. Yeah. And what you can also do, Manas, is you can send a message over Udemy to all 758 of your students. That's awesome. And advertise that new course of yours as well. Yeah. And you can create coupons too. Like let me show you how I do it as well. So if you go to my my website, so let's go here, HarounVentures.com. If you go to my website, I also have my courses up here. And these are always the cheapest versions of my courses. You can click here and get access to my courses here. So that's just another way to do it. Yeah. And if you have additional questions, please let me know. And thank you as always. All right. Okay. Manas is saying, You made a new course, but you didn't tell us about it. Yeah, so I made a new course. I partnered with one of the largest banks in the United States, U.S. Bank, to make a course. And you'll hear about it very, very soon. Thank you. Yeah. And I also have another course coming out. It'll be out by Black Friday as well. I'm partnering with Vital, one of my amazing students from Rwanda. And it'll be a French version of an entire MBA in one course. And the proceeds from that are being used to pay for our first of many schools that we're going to be making and building in Rwanda. Yeah. All right. And then Manas is saying, thank you for being so patient in answering my silly, weird questions. No, they're great, please. And then you wrote, God bless you and your family forever. And God bless you and your family way more, buddy. Thank you. And then you wrote, special love for Ruby from India. And have a great weekend. Thank you. Ruby's my cat. For those of you not familiar, we finally, or Dylan, my youngest son, he convinced Christine finally to allow us to get a cat, which we love. We love very much. She's great. And because of COVID, there's no better time to get a pet, man. Kanal saying, good morning, Chris. Hope you're doing well. Likewise, hope all is well with you as well. And then Mr. Lee is saying, Chris, I hope you're doing well. How do you pick a stock? Do you use any stock screeners? Yeah. So you can use a stock screener if you want to, meaning you can go to a website like finance.yahoo.com and just do a search on stocks in a particular sector and sort by, the lowest P to the highest, that sort of thing. But I don't do it that way. I tend to invest in companies for which I use the product and understand the products a lot. And then what I do is I look at the management team first. And if I'm happy with the management team, and if they're passionate about selling and they inspire me, then I build out my financial model and do a lot of due diligence, which I teach you in a lot of detail in my MBA degree program. Yeah. All right. And I only invest in 5-baggers, meaning stocks I think can go up 500% within 5 years. And the reason is because it's impossible to perfectly call a target price on a stock, meaning what you think it's going to be worth 1, 2, or 5 years from now. But if you do a lot of research and roll up your sleeves and create a financial model, and you see an insane amount of upside in your earnings estimates relative to what the rest of the world is thinking, then you're not going to have a perfect target price, but the stock's still going to go up a hell of a lot. And I'll teach you my methodologies during my MBA degree program on this as well. Yeah. And let me actually change the background, different green screen here. I'm experimenting with something different here today. It's something we're doing in the MBA program. My face a bit orangish, I think, here too, but I'll work on that. Yeah. As Salvador Dali said, if you strive for perfection, you'll never reach it. Yeah. Okay. Next question is, if Biden wins, which sectors do you think will benefit the most? Yeah. Probably healthcare. I would say healthcare. Yeah. And I think that Biden's going to do whatever the heck it takes to pour as much money into finding a cure for this terrible COVID crisis that we're in. Yeah. But in general, usually the market goes up a lot more in the long run if the president is very, very business friendly. So you can read between the lines there. Sector I'd be a little bit worried about, and I am an environmentalist, and I do love the environment in this planet. But one sector I'd be worried about is the oil sector. Just given what he said at the very end of the last televised debate. Yeah, which is the right thing to say. But I do worry about the implications on states like Texas, for example, which are very much oil dependent. Yeah. Okay. And then next up, I also want to know, how do you manage your emotions when the market is crashing? I was quite frustrated in the past few weeks when I saw my portfolio was shrinking. Can you share us more? Thanks. Yeah. So the most successful people in business are incredibly unemotional. They don't get too happy when things go well and vice versa. And I've worked for a lot of billionaires, and some of them, and I won't say which ones, I think have borderline Asperger's syndrome. And that means that they don't get too happy when things go well. Like when I've worked for them and one of the companies we invested in got acquired when I worked in the hedge fund industry, there wasn't really much high-fiving in the office. And then also, when the world is falling apart, they don't panic either. And Warren Buffett once said that the New York Stock Exchange is the only store in the world where consumers sell stuff when it goes on sale. And he's right. You have to be unemotional in business, because with crisis comes opportunity, always. And you have to buy when there's blood in the streets. And I know that's a terrible thing to say, but it's a little bit extreme. But you got to buy when everyone else is freaking out. Otherwise, if you buy the same stock that everybody in the world loves, then who is the incremental investor to push that stock higher? There's not that many. And so I love to invest in broken stocks, but not broken companies. And you just got to be disciplined. You got to be disciplined. Never buy your entire position at once. Buy little bits. And when I start a new core position in my portfolio, what I do is I buy a little bit and I hope it goes down a lot. And I know it's a weird thing to say, but I get excited when it goes down so that I can keep adding to it until I make it a full 5% position in my portfolio. And I'll teach you all about portfolio management in my MBA degree program in a lot of detail. So yeah, you just got to be greedy when others are fearful, and fearful when others are greedy, and just be unemotional. And dude, when you start a company, be careful as well, because I don't mean to be a downer, and I am a positive person, as you know, but don't get too happy when things go well. Why? Because I don't want you to freak out when, God forbid, things don't go well. I want you to be level-headed. Always, always, always. Yeah. Be unemotional in business. Be a contrarian and watch your net worth take off. All right. Next up, we've got Casey is saying, hi, Chris. Hope you're well and having a great week. Likewise. What are your thoughts on a blank background versus using a green screen? And what is the most cost-effective way to set up a green screen? Yeah. So I personally am not a huge fan of green screens. I'm using it right now, and one of the reasons is because we're doing a case study on Apple potentially buying Nintendo, and I have a lot of pretend characters coming in to present. It's going to be fun. But the problem with green screening is you get a little bit of green on the sides of your face sometimes. I think it did an okay job with this one. It also doesn't really show you your natural color. And so let me actually show you behind the scenes here on this. So right up here, and this is out there. I have to stand up. Hold on. This is, and by the way, the reason there's a timer up there is because I'm doing one-on-ones with my MBA students today, my platinum students, and so I set a timer here, and I like to stand up and sometimes walk on my treadmill when I'm doing it. But you have to light the entire background perfectly. So at the top here, you can see it's not perfectly lit, and so that's not a camera angle that I would use for that. So let me go back to green screen mode here, and I'll show you. And you see here how my chair, which is not supposed to be in the shot, it's not perfect because there are little shadows behind here as well. And so the key to getting a perfect green screen is to make sure that you don't have to have it really, really bright behind you, but you have to make sure that the lighting is perfect all around you, meaning completely even. And so let me actually show you. So let me turn off green screen here. Give me a second. All right. There we go. Good. Yeah. So the light behind me, it's almost perfect everywhere, right? It's a little bit hot, as they say right here. But it's almost perfect behind me. It has to be completely uniform. It doesn't have to be too bright. Just the exact same intensity of lighting across the entire green screen. That's really it. That's it. Yeah. And this is a piece of paper. That's all it is. And I have 2 lights on it. That's all. And what you do is you point one light, you put it on this side here, and you point it at the back wall behind you. And the other light's over here, you point it at the other back wall over there. And what you can do, what I did, is I put a sheet on top of it. It's called a diffuser. And what a diffuser does is it takes the light and spreads it out so that it's not too intense in any one particular area. Yeah. And in terms of the backgrounds that I used, I prefer not using green screen at all because the color's never perfect with it. And also when you wave your hands around a lot, like you can see right here, you can see all my fingers, okay? Now watch what happens when I switch to green screen, okay? So I'm gonna go here, go over to green screen. It's kind of tough, but if you look closely, you can see a little bit of fading. And I got rid of a lot of the, hey there, I got rid of a lot of the imperfections by cranking up my my shutter speed from 1/48 to 1/75 on my camera here, so that there are fewer streaks. And I teach you all that stuff, my MBA degree program as well. But I'm kind of playing around with something different here. I wanted to put a bunch of, I don't know, motivating posters behind me on the wall. Now, that wall behind me, it looks fake, mainly because the posters are not faded out. However, what you can do, and this is what I've done, is I go into Photoshop or Final Cut Pro. And then what I do is I make the background a little bit more blurry so that you can't really tell. So here's an example. This is just a sample here, right? So that was made blurry on purpose. And you can use what's called Gaussian Blur as well to set this up. And I also have just a wall here. I made it slightly blurry as well. And I didn't make it perfect. Like you can see the wall frame, the frame there on one of the windows. But if you do it, it can be so fake and, I don't know, inspiring but distracting if you use something like this or a completely fake background like this. You want to make it appear a little bit real, just a little bit real. And so I have, like, you want to make sure that it's a bit faded behind you, or I should say blurry. And again, you can use what's called Gaussian Blur, Gaussian Blur, in most photo and video editing software products. And I'm happy to show you exactly how I do that as well if you care. And then I had all over here, this one here I was playing around with. It's not perfect, but as you can see, there are waves behind me. And I blurred it out a bit. So it looks kind of real. The lighting's not perfect. So it's you know it's not the real deal. This one here, what I did with this one here was I have it looped. So it's 21 seconds. It keeps repeating. Now I'm gonna actually show you what's being looped. So let me go here, and you'll be able to tell that this is not real, because it loops for 20 seconds and then it unloops. Or I should say it goes back to the beginning. And so let me go here. So you'll see the water there is moving, but at the very end, the boat moves a little bit. So it's a little bit tough to do. And I did blur it out a bit as well to make it more realistic. But it's kind of cool. But you always want to blur the background if you can. And if you have additional questions about green screening, let me know, because I've made every mistake that there is to make. Thank you. Okay. All right. Next up, Dario. Hey, Dario, from Italy is saying, "Hey, Chris, I hope you're well. Likewise. I know that you biohack a lot, meaning that I take certain vitamins, herbs, and I play around with my diet, and I consume a lot of antioxidants and a lot of blueberries in this drink here this morning." So you wrote here, I know that you biohack a lot. What do you think about Wim Hof method? There were TED Talks about it. I don't know what that is. I'm so sorry. If you want, provide me with a little bit of color or detail on what that means, and I'll provide my humble thoughts. And thank you. Appreciate it. All right. And then Dario wrote, by the way, your speech last week was amazing. Your Back to the Future reference was simply great. Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you. And I did make a bunch of mistakes in it. See if you can notice the mistakes. I even had spelling mistakes on my slides, which is crazy. Like usually I over prepare for everything. But I you can turn spell check off if it's all caps. And my slides were all caps. So I had spelling mistakes. So yeah. I make a lot of mistakes. Yeah. Thank you. All right. And then Soliman, how are you? Solly's from Lithuania. Hope you're doing well, buddy. Solly wrote, "Hello, Chris. I missed you. I missed you more, dude." And Solly's one of my amazing Platinum MBA degree program students. And I think we have a one-on-one meeting today, man. I'm looking forward to chatting with you, buddy. Okay. Next one is Diana is saying hello. I wanted to know about how business deals take place, especially how deals take place between companies and states. For example, if a company is planning to bring out a vaccine for COVID-19, what sort of deal would it make with the state countries? Yeah. So when it comes to healthcare, there's a lot of regulation. Same thing with financial services. And so the government would have to approve a drug. And there's a body called the FDA, the Federal Drug Administration body, that will actually approve or not approve products. And it gets complicated because sometimes these biotech companies have clinical trials, and they test out the products a lot. And sometimes it can take 2 years until the product gets to market. And then the stock goes up a hell of a lot or down a hell of a lot. It's like a binary event whenever they get approval from the government or not from the government. And I remember there was a guy I knew, he lost $100 million in one day. In 2005, he was a biotech investor because he owned a ton of Biogen, ticker BIIB. And Biogen did not get approval for a certain drug, and so the stock got cut in half. Now, when it comes to desperate times, desperate times call for desperate measures. Things are really, really rough in the world because of COVID now. And so governments are working much more closely with healthcare companies to fast track and approve anything that looks like it might potentially work. Yeah, that's basically how it works. And if you have additional questions, please let me know. Thank you. All right. Next up, Asanga is saying, hi, Chris. Are you going to make any business courses in the future on Udemy or on your website? Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. So I have a couple coming out this year on Udemy. One of them is I partnered with one of the largest banks in the United States to make it. It's a lot of fun. You'll love it. You'll find out about it soon. And another one is a French version of my course called the Entire MBA in One Course, which I'm teaching with one of my amazing students from Rwanda in French, named Vital. Vital is going to do most of the French speaking because my French it's only okay. Yeah. So yeah, no, but I will always make courses for Udemy forever. Yeah. All right. And next up, Diana is saying, how do the elections affect the market? How will the market be affected if Biden wins and vice versa? Yeah. So the market usually prices in what looks like is going to happen. So right now, it looks like, Biden is ahead. If you're watching a replay of this, he's got almost 270 of the electoral votes, far ahead of Trump. So the market seems like it's pricing that in at this point. Yeah. And markets hate uncertainty. And so what happens usually is when the market's worried about something, and I'm not making a call in the market at all, but when the market's worried about something, an event, and the event happens, then sometimes the market bottoms. So for example, when countries are about to go to war, what happens is the markets freak out. And then when this is terrible, but when the first bomb drops, meaning when the war starts, the markets can rally. And that's what happened with the statue of Saddam when it fell in 2003. That was kind of like when one of the first bombs was dropped. And then the market rallied from there for several years until the world almost ended in 2008. Yeah. So the market tries to price in what is going to happen in the future. The same thing with stocks. Markets always price in what investors think companies are going to do earnings-wise in the future. Yeah. Okay. And then next up, Asanga is saying, I assume you're adding extra hours of content to your MBA courses every week. What is the exact length of the on-demand video of your MBA at this very moment? Yeah. So it's over, I think it's 225 hours or something like that. It's going to be 300 by the time we're done in December. Yeah. So we got a lot more stuff that we're adding, a lot of surprises, hence the green screen behind me. Yeah. So the silver version is going to be over 300 hours. The gold and platinum versions are going to be over 500 hours, plus one-on-ones with me if you're in the platinum version. Yeah. Okay. All right. And then Solly is saying, Chris, when your income is much higher than the new business you want to start, regardless of this, will you start it? Let me read that again. When your income is much higher than the new business. Okay. So I think the question is, when should you quit your full-time job and make your side hustle your full-time gig? So the rule of thumb I usually use is, if you have a side hustle, if your income over the past 6 months from the side hustle is more than the amount you'll get from your salary for an entire year, then that's a no-brainer time to think about starting. Yeah, and that's conservative too. Okay. All right, Andrew, how are you? So saying I've got a little bit of Sadhguru wisdom, which is never look up to anyone, never look down on anyone. If you look up to anyone, you'll make assumptions in your head. If you look down on anyone, you'll make nonsense in your head. Look at anyone or anything the way they are. You shall navigate life effectively if you do that. No, thank you for that. I appreciate it. So I think that when it comes to investing in business, just remember that no one is smarter than you. And I really do believe that. I'm not saying I'm arrogant at all, but I believe in you. I believe in my students. And so I actually licensed a video from Steve Jobs on this topic. But when it comes to confidence in general, and I've got a great quote I want to show you here. So 9/10 of education is encouragement. Look at that graphic. Isn't that beautiful? I love that imagery there. But I never want you to take advice from me on stocks to buy or anybody. I always want you to do your own research and your own homework. Always, always, always. You know, don't think just because somebody speaks gooder than us that they're smarter. They're not. Roll up your sleeves and do the work. And I pride myself in teaching my students how to fish and not provide them with a fish. So hopefully that makes sense. Thank you. All right. Next up, Rohit. Rohit saying, good morning, Chris. I hope all's well. Likewise. And Rohit wrote here, I liked your Future of Education speech at the Start Say Silicon Valley event. Thank you. Appreciate that. I had a lot of fun doing it. Yeah. And then Asenga is saying, if Biden wins, it's not his victory because he won't last a year with dementia, you wrote here. And then you wrote here, it's a matter of time when Kamala is going to take over. Kamala is going to take over. People actually will be voting for Trump or Kamala. Yeah. I don't have a strong opinion on that. Yeah. All right. And give me 1 second, please, guys. Hold on 1 second. So this morning I came in and I was getting set up for this, and I spilled my coffee everywhere, and it was a disaster. And so I asked Christine if she could please just grab me a coffee. She just came back from her run. She put it at the door, so I'm going to go and get it from the door. Give me 1 second, okay? Hold on 1 second. And while I'm doing that, I'll show you a little trailer from one of my courses. Thanks.
Do you want to start living life on your own terms? Do you want to learn how to increase your productivity, your ability to focus, and your overall happiness? Perfect. This course is a 30-day challenge with 30 short daily exercises to increase your productivity as well as your happiness. The goal is to change and improve your life. And these aren't just any life improvement lessons. The 30 lessons are based on my meetings with many incredibly successful business people. I asked them, what makes their approach so successful? And this is what I learned. Time management skills. How to create unstoppable confidence. How to find your professional passion. How to eliminate distractions. Understanding the importance of giving, which always leads to receiving. How to deal with difficult people. How to stop procrastinating, and many more priceless life lessons. I conducted my research over many years while working at Goldman Sachs, at hedge funds, in the technology industry, in the consulting industry, in venture capital, and at the companies I've started. I've had the pleasure of meeting with, investing in, and working for some of the most successful people in business. And now it's time for me to share my results with you. In this course, I will also include a free copy of my book called 30-Day Challenge to a More Successful and Much Happier You. because I want to humbly inspire you to achieve all of your goals. Thank you for your commitment to this journey that we'll take together. Let's begin the 30-day challenge so you can live your life on your terms.
All right, thanks for your patience. Christine just brought me a coffee, as I mentioned earlier. I spilled it, but it's in a green mug. Damn it! And I'm using green screen. What am I gonna do? Yeah. Looks kind of cool though, eh? I'm holding a flower. Yeah, flower coffee. Yeah. All right. Next up, the question, and if I miss anybody in between, just paste it again. And please know that YouTube won't let you paste links for some reason. Next up, Kurt is saying, I'm here to hear your sage advice, Chris. I'll be on later as well. But sending my best wishes for all things Haroun Ventures from McLovin. Thank you. I love that. And I love that super bad reference. That is awesome. I'm going to pour this in my other mug because this might look kind of neat, actually. All right. There we go. Done. Empty coffee cup. And I spilled a little bit again. I'm telling you, man, I've got a drinking problem here. Okay. All right. Next question is Asanga is saying, Chris, why did you choose to create an MBA degree specifically? You could have called it a bachelor's degree in business. Yeah. So I have an MBA from a good school. And I found that a lot of the stuff that I was supposed to learn in business school wasn't taught to me, like how to sell, how to interview, how to present, how to create a business. That's right. How to manage my own money. You're taught how to manage other people's money, and a lot more. And so I was a little bit disillusioned with the whole MBA degree process. And my buddies that went to other top schools like Harvard, Stanford, etc., they shared with me the same feedback as well. So I wanted to do something about it, which is why I created my own version of an MBA degree program, which provides you with practical skills that you can apply immediately in the real world. Also, MBA schools are way too expensive. It's not fair. It's not fair. And there's a lot of elitism that happens as well at a lot of these Ivy League schools or Oxford, Cambridges of the world, meaning if your parents went there, you got a much better chance of getting in. Now, my parents did not go to the universities I went to. But the whole educational process, I think, is ripe for disruption, and it's unfair. It's unfair. And if you want more details on that, just go to my YouTube page and search for the future of education, where I talk about my view of the world in the future and why I believe most universities are going to go bankrupt. Yeah. Okay. Next up, Adonis is saying, are we still able to enroll in your silver program? Yeah, absolutely. And I've gotten this question a couple of times. I think my marketing team is marketing gold and platinum a little bit more because we're about to start it soon. But I'll show you where you can get access to the silver program, which has a 30-day money-back guarantee, like all my programs do. So what you can do, there's little me, is go to my website. And then you can go to online MBA degree programs to learn more and click through to it. Or you can just go to learn.harounventures.com. And let me actually go into incognito mode because I'm already registered, and I'll show you. All right. So learn.harounventures.com. And when you're here, you can see it's right here. Here's the silver version right here. Yeah. Thank you. All right, back to big mode here. Hold on a second. There we go. Okay, great. All right, next question is, for anyone wondering, the MBA program is awesome. Oh, thank you. Oh, it's Kurt. Thanks, buddy. Kurt's in my platinum program. And it's also at your own pace. There's lots of practical stuff you don't get in a traditional MBA. And Chris, of course, that's worth the price alone. Thank you, Kurt. I appreciate that. God bless you. Thank you. And Mr. Evergreen is saying, is a college degree the same value, or is freelancing better after learning a skill? Yeah. So I think that, obviously, I think education is important. Otherwise, I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing. But I really do believe that self-education is a better way to do it. And here's a great quote on self-education here. Yeah, from Jim Rohn. But I think what's more important is your ability to network, right? Like, a lot of people will go to business school or some other master's degree program so that they can make a career change. You can see the green bubbles here. You see through. It's pretty cool. Yeah. So they can make a career change. What I recommend doing is learning online and setting up a ton of informational meetings to see if you can change careers. And if you can't, then go and get that degree if you want to from university. But this is a book of mine you can get from my website for free. It's harounventures.com. And it's 200 pages on how to network to get anything you want in life, including a job, a career change, as well as customers, etc. And there's a couple hours of YouTube videos that link from this as well. Again, you can download this from my website, Haroun Ventures at harounventures.com, because your network is your net worth, and relationships are always more important than product knowledge. Now, if I told you that if you set up 100 informational meetings using LinkedIn and methodologies I teach, that I guarantee you would get the job of your choice and be able to change careers, would you do it? Of course you'd say yes. Most people don't follow through, though. And if you think about it, an MBA degree, sometimes it costs $100,000 from some of these schools, which is ridiculous. So if you do 100 meetings and you're able to change careers without doing that MBA, then those 100 meetings, think of them as costing $1,000 each. That's $100,000. And most people don't, they give up on networking. It's like dating, and I should not be giving the dating advice. I'm the worst ever. But if you ask 3 people out and they say no, does that mean you're never going to get married, never have kids? No, you got to keep at it. You got to keep at it and just keep getting rejected over and over and over again, because in dating, you'll have to be successful one time. And the same thing in business. You'll have to be successful one time. And so with my students, when I used to teach MBA school and undergraduates in universities during the evenings, I would always ask my students on the first day of the 10-week semester, I would say, if I told you that if you did 10 informational meetings over the next 10 weeks, if you did that, if I told you you would be guaranteed to get the job of your dreams, would you do it? And all 70 hands would go up. I love big classes. I always had 70 students. Then on the final day, right before the exam, I asked, how many people did 10 meetings? No hands go up. How many did 9 meetings? No hands go up. How many did 8 meetings? And a couple hands go up. Those students, they were never the ones with the top grades, but those are the students that got the jobs of their dreams. So you have to network. If you just keep your head down in the corporate world and you work hard, you're not going to get a raise, you're not going to get a promotion. You got to find Yodas internally. Mentors at your company. And yet, like anything else, you have to ask if you want to get promoted. You have to ask if you want to get a date. You have to ask if you want to get a raise, that sort of thing. So I really do believe that networking is really, really, really important in business. And I teach you amazing networking skills as well in my MBA degree program. And there's this woman that reached out to me a couple days ago trying to sell a product. And I don't answer almost all emails because I get tons of them. Not because I'm ignoring people, but I have a lot of people soliciting, trying to sell me stuff. But what she did in her networking approach was brilliant. She said she had 2 cups of coffee, and her name was Sarah, I think. On one of the cups, she wrote Sarah, and the other cup, like a Starbucks cup, she wrote Chris. And she said, Chris, hope all is well. Please let me know if you have time for a virtual coffee to talk about my product or service. And I said, yes. I took the meeting and I said, we'll set something up in December. But that's kind of an interesting, innovative way to try to network. I thought that was pretty cool. But just remember that your network is your net worth, and relationships are more important than product knowledge. Yeah. All right. Next up, Fausto is saying, hey, Chris, any tips on how to focus on your side hustles? I really want to finish my app, minimum viable product, to start my business. But I have a remote work day job, and I just get tired at the end of the day. Thanks. Yeah. Yeah. So the best way to focus is to, like the first thing in the morning, you're fresh usually. And 1 hour of work in the morning or studying in the morning, 1 hour of work or studying in the morning is the equivalent of 10 hours at night. So what I recommend doing is pretty simplistic. I would just get up 30 minutes or 60 minutes earlier every day and make that first 30 to 60 minutes your side hustle time. That's what I recommend. Yeah. Because you're fresh and you'll be providing better bandwidth, so to speak, from a cognitive abilities perspective to focusing on your side hustle than when you start work that day. Yeah, because you're more fresh. Or what you can do also is you can actually go for a walk and then work on your side hustle that way. Hear me out. Or you can actually go on a treadmill as well. And so what I actually do is because in the afternoon, like you're kind of brain dead, or at least I am. I find when I exercise in the afternoon to get my 20,000 steps in, which I do daily, I get a lot more stuff done and I can think a lot better. And so I've got this desk, and I've showed you in previous webcasts, it does go up. And I've got a treadmill underneath it. It's like a Michael Bay production, the guy that made Transformers. All right, next up, Sean is saying, what is the best resource for market research? Yeah. So I think that it's Yahoo Finance. So go to finance.yahoo.com and research stocks that way if you want to. It's free. I don't believe in paying for investment advice from anybody ever. Because if they're so good about it, then why aren't they worth a fortune? So I would do your own research. And if you want, you can do a search on YouTube for my name and Motley Fool, which is an online service that people pay for stock picks. Yeah. Always do your own research. Yeah. All right. And careful, dude. When you're using Yahoo Finance, make sure you don't read any of the sponsored stories either. Because those are paid advertisements. Always do your own research. Always, because nobody is smarter than you. All right. Next question is from Daniel. Daniel's saying, hey, Chris, hope all is well. Likewise. I'm just wondering, in terms of completing your MBA program, do employers recognize it in the same terms of having an MBA or an online upskill course with MBA-like topics? Yeah. So I think employers will recognize it more so than just taking a single course on business online. Yeah. Now, I chose not to do accreditation because I do believe that accreditation is going to be abolished in the long run. I think most universities are going to go out of business. And also, I looked into it too, and I could make a hell of a lot more money if I did accreditation. But if I did that, then universities or standards bodies would tell me what I can and cannot teach, and they're part of the problem, not part of the solution. And prices would be insanely higher too, because these accreditation bodies are a scam. They charge you a fortune just so they can put a checkbox and say, yes, you're accredited. And there's lots of different accreditation agencies. And I could do it for next to nothing, or actually a couple grand, whatever, per student if I wanted to. But I don't want to do that, because I want to make education accessible for everybody. And I don't want anybody to tell me what I can and can't teach. And the problem with universities is they teach antiquated stuff in business, at least, stuff that was relevant literally last century. And I don't want anybody to tell me what I can and can't teach. I want to be laser focused on my customer, my student, you, and I will walk through walls to make sure you're successful or your money back. All right, next up, and Kit is saying, I want to create financial marketplace. I haven't tried for funding yet. What do you suggest? Do I create a marketplace by bootstrapping and then asking for funding, or should I get the funding to start? So I think that failing to plan is planning to fail. And so most people don't write a business plan for starting a company. So you can check out my complete business plan course if you want to online, or you can take my MBA degree program where I put you through a much more intensive venture capital boot camp in the 3rd of 4 semesters. Yeah. But I don't recommend using much of your own money. You can bootstrap initially, and bootstrap, for those of you not familiar with the term, means using your own money. You can bootstrap a little bit initially. I don't want you to go into debt. I want you to raise money from high net worth investors. And I want you to leverage what I teach in my free networking book on how to get high net worth investors. You can go to my website, harounventures.com, to learn more about that. And I don't want you to get a bank loan, because if you get a bank loan and you're a couple days late, banks are chicken. And what they can do is they can literally take everything you own, your house, your cars, etc. I want you to get investments from high net worth investors, because the sales cycle when it comes to investments from high net worth investors is quite short, versus venture capital firms can take a long time. So I want you to network using the stuff I teach you in this free book, which you can get from my website, harounventures.com. I want you to network and find high net worth investors that can back your business model. And whenever you're raising money, always get a lawyer involved, please. Always, always, always. Otherwise, you can get yourself into trouble. Yeah. All right. Next up, Sanjay is saying, "Hi, Chris. I'm Sanjay. I've joined your complete job interview course. Thank you and welcome." The thing is, I'm an Indian in the United Kingdom, and I'm doing an MBA. I have 0 years of work experience. Is it possible for me to get hired in Goldman Sachs as an associate directly? Also, are there any openings in the hedge fund industry? Okay, yeah. Yeah. You absolutely can get hired by Goldman Sachs. Absolutely. But what I recommend doing is this. I recommend reading my networking book. You can go to my website for more details on how to get it. And I recommend that you set up informational meetings with people that work at Goldman Sachs that are similar to you. And so let's say that you wrote that you're Indian living in the United Kingdom and doing an MBA at a certain school. So let's say that you're from, Mumbai. And let's say that you're going to school XYZ. What you can do is do an advanced search in LinkedIn and find people that are also from Mumbai that also went to that same school. And then just send a very short LinkedIn email, because everybody opens all LinkedIn emails. I know everybody in this call has opened every LinkedIn email you've ever received, but you've not opened every email you've ever received. And so you send a very, very short LinkedIn email. In the subject line, you write, "Hi." And in the contents, you write, "John," for example. "Hope all is well. I'm also from Mumbai, and I'm also a student at XYZ school. I'm here in London. Please let me know if you have time for a coffee. Thanks, Sanjay." And think about it from this perspective. Think about if Sanjay, if 20 years from now, you're 20 years more successful than you are today, and a younger version of you reaches out to you that's from the same hometown, that went to the same school, and sent you that message. Would you take that meeting? And it can be a Zoom meeting too because of COVID. Would you take that meeting and help yourself in hindsight? Of course you would. All you have to do is ask. Ask and you'll receive. It's prophetic, and it's been true since the beginning of time. So the leverage point is to find people that have at least two things in common with you, and just send them a quick email. It works. I promise you it works. It might take you 10 messages before you get a response, but it works. It does. I promise you. Just remember, your network is your net worth, and relationships are more important than product knowledge. Okay. And then Sanjay wrote, "Is there a way to contact you via your course?" Yeah. You can always ask questions on whatever platform you're taking my course on, and I will answer you. Or what you can do is you can sign up for the platinum version of my MBA degree program, and I give you 3 hours of one-on-one time as well. And to learn more about my MBA degree programs, you can go to harounmba.com. Thanks. Yeah. And Raymond Manning is... Oh, Raymond, I think I remember you, dude. Raymond, I think I met you in December 2017 at Udemy. Udemy brought me in along with Alexa Fisher to give a presentation on how to teach online. And I remember you used to work at Oracle. I've got a good memory. You used to work at Oracle. You don't live in the Bay Area. You don't live in California even. And actually, no, you actually brought me a Yankees hat from Cooperstown. I remember that. I saw you at a future event, so thank you. I hope you're doing well, buddy. Hope you're doing well. So Raymond said, if Biden wins, I believe any company attached to green initiatives will go up. Totally fair. Totally fair. Yep. Absolutely. Yeah. He's very much pro-environment. Yeah. It's a good point. And I hope you're doing well. And I hope you enjoyed. I remember that one time I talked to you, I told you to watch that movie 61, which is the best baseball movie ever made. Billy Crystal. Yeah, movie. I hope you enjoyed it. And then Ankit is saying, any advice for freelancers, marketplaces? I haven't built it yet. So I guess what I would do is I would do a lot of research on Upwork.com as well as Fiverr.com. That's Fiverr.com, which is a great Tel Aviv-based company that's public that allows you to do online gigs for $5 or more. And since they're public, by law, they've disclosed a lot of financial information. So I would read through all the financial documents that are disclosed online. And that will help you understand the strengths and weaknesses, which are documented in that information by law, of their business model. So you can build a better version, a better mousetrap. Okay. Next up, Eston is saying, I'm interested in purchasing the restaurant I manage. I know revenue for the past years. How do I estimate a valuation without asking the owners to open the books? Yeah. So what I recommend doing is I have a course called the Complete Financial Analyst course. And in that course, I teach you how to create a financial model. And so what you need to do is focus mainly on the income statement. And you have the financials you wrote for 3 years. And I would look at what revenue growth was in the past and then forecast what you think it's going to be in the future. And I say stick with revenue mainly. And the reason is because when you forecast financials for a company, you focus mainly on revenue because every other line item or many line items become a percentage of revenue. So if you forecast revenue is going to go from $100 to $400 in 5 years, right? So that's a 400% increase in revenue. Then that means that sales and marketing and the number of employees you have, the salaries you're paying them should also go up a similar amount, maybe a little bit less. And that's where leverage kicks in the model. That's what I recommend doing. Yeah. And obviously look at how much debt the restaurant has, et cetera. And always get a lawyer to read over all the documents before you purchase that company. That's what I recommend. Yeah. And if you have additional questions about that, please let me know, and best of luck. Yeah. And now's the time to be buying companies that are out of favor. You gotta buy when there's blood in the streets. Always. Yeah. So I have a very good friend, very successful actually, and he's growing his company, a great restaurant business during recession. He's doing incredibly well. His name is Zaid Ayub, and his company is called Saj, and it's like Chipotle but for Middle Eastern food. And nobody is opening restaurants now, and he's focused on growing right now because no one is. And you got to be a contrarian if you want to do exceptionally well in business. Now, if you guys can provide me a little bit of feedback, let me know how the audio quality is, please. I want to make sure that you guys get the best customer experience. Should I jack it up a bit or not? I'm trying something different. I've got the microphone above, and I'll show you the setup here just really quickly. I'm hanging it from the ceiling, so it's actually up here, right? So it's hanging down. Yeah, I'm trying to get the microphone to be not in the frame. Yeah. All right, there we go. Okay, cool. All right, next up, Kurt is saying, is it bad to use a Yahoo email account? I also have Gmail. Yes. I wouldn't use a Yahoo email or Hotmail or AOL. I love you, Mom. Because my mom had an AOL account. Actually, she just switched to Gmail. But Gmail is more forward thinking than the aforementioned 3 antiquated technologies. Yeah. All right. Okay. Again, please provide me feedback if you think that the volume is too low here. I'm trying something a little bit different here. Thanks. All right. Next up, Sean is saying, how can I start my own hedge fund? Do you also talk about how to use options to hedge your positions in a hedge fund? Only in my MBA degree program. It's a lesson that we're just about to go live with in 2 weeks. Yeah. So starting a hedge fund's tricky. I've done it. I've done it to the extent that I had an onshore and an offshore entity. So I have a course on how to pick stocks on Udemy, and I talk about hedge funds there a bunch. So you can check that course out if you want. It used to be called the Complete Hedge Fund Course, and then I renamed it because not many people were buying it because not that many people want to start a hedge fund. And so I made my total addressable market bigger by calling it something along the lines of how to pick stocks by a pro investor. Yeah. But a lot of it's going to come down to networking, and it's the crux of how I wrote my book. I've raised and managed over $1 billion in my career, and I teach you my networking skills in this book here, which you can get at harounventures.com. And I did hundreds and hundreds of meetings to raise a lot of money in several countries. And I found that I was able to raise the most money from high net worth investors. And this is applicable for anybody starting a company. Don't waste your time talking to venture capital firms initially or big entities. Talk to high net worth investors because the sales cycle is much, much shorter. It's less bureaucratic. And I remember when I was starting my hedge fund years ago, I flew up to Montreal, one of the cities I marketed at my roadshow. And I met with Caisse Dépôt. And Caisse Dépôt is the largest pension fund in the great province of Quebec, La Belle Province. And it was supposed to be a half-hour long meeting. And it was 3 hours. I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. And so right at the end of the meeting, like I always do, I asked for the sale. I said, so I'd love to have you invest. And the answer was, well, thank you very much. We really appreciated this meeting. We'll monitor you for 5 years. And at that point, we'll look to invest. And so I realized that I was just a checkbox. And a lot of times when you meet with these big institutions, the analysts that work there have to take 300 or 400 meetings a year, 1 or 2 a day or whatever it is. So you become a checkbox, which wastes your time. And so the way to work smarter, not harder, is to set up meetings with high net worth investors. And I teach you how to get customers and meetings with high net worth investors in this book, which you can get on my website. Yeah. All right. All right. No comments on the quality of the audio. Okay. So I'm assuming it's good then. Thank you. All right. Thanks. Next up, Casey is saying, I think the standard studio background that you usually have is better than the green screen. Yeah, absolutely. I completely agree. Completely agree. And this will probably be the last time I do this, to be honest. Yeah. Yeah. Because it's not natural. Like the quality of my face is not, the colors get kind of messed up. Again, the reason I'm doing this because in my MBA degree program, I've got a bunch of fictitious characters coming in for an Apple buying Nintendo pretend case study. Yeah. I'll leave it at that for now. But the coloring is off, and yeah, this will be the last time I do it. And thanks for your feedback. Appreciate it. All right. And then Steve is saying, what's your take on going for a certification, writing the Series 63 or 7 or financial planner versus the CFA? Yeah. And so for those who are not familiar with the CFA, it stands for the Certified Financial Analyst designation. CFA, way better. The only reason you should take the Series 63 or the Series 7, which are United States government mandated courses that FINRA, financial institution regulatory agency, makes you take. The only reason you should write those series exams, 63, 7, etc., is if your lawyer or your company tells you have to do it in order to be able to talk to customers as a broker dealer. Right. And even if you start your own hedge fund, like when I worked at Goldman Sachs, they made me write the Series 3, the Series 63 as well, and the Series 7. And I remember the Series 7, they gave us 3 days to study for it. It was a lot. It was a hell of a lot of work. But we had to do it for regulatory purposes. And then when I started my own hedge fund, FINRA, also a government body, advised me to do it as well, and my lawyers. So I did it. But only do it if you have to do it and your lawyers tell you to do it. It's the CFA is more respected than an MBA though. CFA it's a 3-year designation, a finance designation, and you study for 3 years and you write 3 exams each year. And if you're going to do that, and I did the first year, what you can do is go to eBay and do a search on Schweizer books for CFA. It's $30, and there are books that are this thick, a bunch of little small books that will help you ace the test. Don't buy the books that the CFA organization tells you to buy because there are tons of them that cost a fortune. Buy the used ones on Schweizer. It saves you a fortune. Yeah, that's what I did. All right. All right. Next up, Michael is saying, "Bon dia, Chris. I hope you're doing well. I'm wondering how you handle the ordering and shipping for your Haroun Business School products, such as the T-shirts and the shopping bags. Do you use products and provide a logo for Teespring, or something else? Please let me know." Yeah. So all I do, so the way it works with my merchandise, and you might all see it right now. If you go to my YouTube channel, you can buy merch. The quality is only okay. I still want to work on it to make it a little bit better. I should probably put this shirt up. A lot of people asked for this one, but I use a free service called Teespring, and let me show you how it works to make merch. So if you go to any YouTube, I guess video of mine, let me pause this here, and you scroll down. Well, I'm in administrator mode, but let me see if I can actually go here and do it in incognito. File, new incognito mode. And anybody can set this up. So, should be here. Maybe it's only on my channel now. Let me go to my channel here. Sorry, guys. Yeah, it's free. Okay. Oh, it's here. Store. That's right. Yeah. All right. So, I've got these products here. It took me literally 10 minutes to set all this up. All I did was, it's if you go to YouTube Creator Studio or YouTube Studio, they call it now. They keep rebranding it. There's a link there for Teespring. And then you set a price. And I set the price as low as possible. I tried to set them at cost so I didn't make money on it, but Teespring wouldn't let me. You upload one logo. But you got to be careful. Like I kind of like the colors are a little bit different on this one. It worked out better with the mugs. Just make sure you order a test one first. And I've got it for iPhone and every type of iPhone case, that sort of thing. So if you want to buy, I don't know, say this product here, you click on it and it goes to Teespring's website right here. And then you can select whatever the type of iPhone you have. And then you can select color, black or white or whatever it is, and you can, add it to cart. It's that simple. Yeah. So I find the quality for Teespring though is not that great, to be intellectually honest. So yeah. All right, let's go to this blue background here. All right. Next up, Jeremy is saying, what are some financial metrics that venture capital firms use to gauge pre-revenue startups? Yeah. It's tough. So when it comes to venture capital investors, the most important thing is they look at the quality of the management team, because ideas are commodities, but execution is not. And so it's kind of a qualitative metric, but they look at how many companies has this CEO started before in the past, and is she or he had exits and been successful, and what is the work experience like of the rest of the management team. So that's what I would say. And they also look at the quality of the investment syndicate if there's other investors. Now, in terms of quantitative metrics, it's a lot less sophisticated than you think. Like I was a little bit disillusioned and disappointed in the whole process, because when I worked in the hedge fund industry and when I worked at Goldman Sachs and all that stuff, I found that we did a heck of a lot of detail work on creating financial models, meaning predicting what a company's going to be worth in the future. But when it came to venture capital, there really wasn't that much of that. Now, a lot of times people will forecast based on the TAM. The TAM stands for total addressable market. And so venture capital firms usually don't like investing in companies that aren't in a massive total addressable market of $20 billion. And the reason I say $20 billion is because in the unlikely event that a startup hits it out of the park and gets 5% share, 5% share, which is massive. 5% share of a $20 billion market is $1 billion in annual revenues. So they look at the size of the TAM or the potential TAM in the future. And when it comes to quantifying what to value the company at when they invest, venture capital firms, they do create financial models. And they'll forecast mainly the income statement. And because the companies aren't profitable, and many of them aren't profitable even until 1 or 2 years after IPO, what happens is a lot of venture capital firms look at revenue multiples. So they'll look at price to revenue. And they'll look at price to revenue compared to similar companies in that sector. So for example, in the summer of 2012, I invested in 3 great IPOs. One was Splunk, ticker SPLK. The other one was Workday, ticker WDAY. And the other one was ServiceNow, ticker NOW. And those 3 subscription-based enterprise software companies traded between 15 and 20 times revenue during the IPO. And so that's how I set the valuation I thought other similar companies with great management teams and great growth profiles as well should trade at. And then eventually those companies became profitable, post IPO. And so once they were profitable, then you value the company based on earnings. But I think that for a lot of private companies, there is no earnings. And so the best way to value initially is to look at a price to revenue multiple. Yeah. All right, cool. All right. And Himanshu is saying, good morning, Chris. Hope you're doing well. Good to see you. Likewise. Next up is cybersecurity is saying, and give me 1 second. Cybersecurity is saying, hi, Chris. How do you make your advertisement video and what your marketing techniques are, please, to make one course? I really needed to know how you make like them. Okay, yeah. So the question is, how do I make my marketing videos? Yeah. So I hired a brilliant man named Adad Warda, Warda, Adad Warda, and his production crew is incredible. And so he's worked with a lot of people that make a lot of Morgan Freeman's movies. And so when I made the trailer in 2017 for my complete presentation course, he brought his entire staff that had worked with Morgan Freeman on movies and stuff. And we filmed it. It was great. And then I flew over to the Czech Republic, to Prague twice in 2018 to make 7 other trailers. And he did the storyboarding and everything. He did a great job. He's amazing. And then earlier this year, I did one for the silver version of my MBA degree product. And given COVID, we couldn't go outdoors, right? We couldn't produce outdoors. So I had to do it in my office here with my green screen. And I used a very wide angle lens so I was standing up as well, which was fun. It's called a cinema lens. So I hired him. They're pricey, but totally worth it. The return on investment is insanely high if you nail it. And we're looking into maybe we're not sure yet, making another trailer for my MBA degree program. And we're going to go to the Hiller Space Museum here on El Camino in San Francisco Bay Area, and we're going to rent a 747. It sounds crazy, but it's not expensive, because this 747 is part of the museum. It was taken out of circulation, the airplane, in the early 1970s. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to be in the cockpit, and I'm going to be flying the plane. And then I'm going to walk out, and I'm going to walk into regular class, and I'm going to say, I'm Chris Haroun, your pilot, and you've all just been upgraded to business class. Woohoo! And then the students, I did it again. I've spilled coffee twice today. Okay. You should not take any courses of mine because I'm so absent-minded. Yeah. I just rearranged my studio with all this green screen stuff, and now I have to clean my coffee. I told you I have a drinking problem. Yeah. So give me 1 second. Make sure there's no electronics. It got coffee on it. I think we're good to go. Yeah, we're fine. We're fine. All right. I'm back now. There's still some left. We're good to go. All right. Yeah. So we don't know if we're gonna we don't know if we're gonna do it. If we're gonna rent that airplane yet, but we're looking into it. Yeah. So it does pay to advertise. Like a lot of people won't bother spending money on advertising. They'll just want the quick sale when it comes to online education courses. But you have to be really long-term focused. And the best way to think about advertising is like dating. You can't get married after one date. When it comes to automobiles, for example, a lot of times you see 10 or 15 commercials before you buy that product. And that's why it pays to advertise. And so that's what I do. And I also look at what's called the lifetime value of a customer. I look at the value of the amount of money I can make from every customer I have forever. And that helps me understand how much to spend on advertising. And I spend a lot on making those commercials. Yeah. All right. Next up, Jason is saying, "Hey, Chris, hope you're doing well. Glad to see you. Likewise. Hope you're doing well. Despite my spilling of drink antics this morning, I'm good." Kills me because I had this beautiful poster that I just ruined. It's right here. You'll see the coffee on it. It says it's from Malala. One child, one teacher, one book, one pen can change the world. Yeah, that sucks. All right, well, I want you to laugh at me, folks, not with me. Thank you. All right. All right. Next up, Mehdi is saying, "Hi, Chris. I'm currently studying C's and artificial intelligence, and I decided to go to university mainly for networking with A students." Okay, I see what you're saying. Okay, so and I did that so I could start my own thing once I graduate. What do you think about this approach? Yeah. So when you start your company, the most important thing is to be able to network a lot. I think what you learn in school is important, but a little bit less important because your network is your net worth. So anyway, I think that the what you can do is you can leverage your network over LinkedIn by doing advanced search and finding people that also went to the same university as you did, and that will help you raise money as well for your company. Yeah. All right. Next up, Naveed is saying, "Hi, Chris. I followed your guidance on networking and found mentors at senior management in my organization. Thank you. You're most welcome." It works, eh? It works. It takes time. It's like dating, right? It's it can be tough, like asking a ton of people out on a date and not getting any responses, like networking. But it works exceptionally well. Yeah. All right. And then Mehdi is saying, "My goal is not to get the top grades, but to create meaningful relationships, learn business alongside technical subjects, and develop myself so that I can become a better entrepreneur in the future." Yeah. Your network is your net worth, and relationships are more important than product knowledge. Yeah. All right. Naveed is saying, "I also improved networking after listening to so many of your sessions on live." Thank you. I hope it helps. And you wrote here, "I want to learn how to create my personal brand and what things I need to work on. Please share a top list to start with." Yeah. So in my MBA degree program, I do a lot more social media stuff and how to brand yourself as well. And if you want, sign up for my MBA degree program, or what you can do is if you just want to learn about personal branding when it comes to YouTube, you can take on Udemy. I have a course called the Complete YouTube Course. Yeah. All right. And then a student saying, "Can I watch this video later? I have to leave." Yeah, absolutely. It's going to be online for access for you forever. Yeah. And Mehdi is saying, "I would like to document what I can learn and create from a personal branding perspective. This way I can network with even more people and maybe monetize my personal brand to earn on the side, like a course." Yeah. So I recommend writing a business plan for whatever type of company you're thinking of starting. And that will kind of help you solve for X in terms of what people you might need to network with. You might need to find people to partner with that can help flush out your management team. Maybe you're a salesperson like Steve Jobs and you need a Wozniak, right? That's your yin yang. So writing a business plan will help you crystallize your thought process as well when it comes to really understanding where your gaps are from a skill set perspective. For more details, you can take my MBA degree program or you can take my complete business plan course. Yeah, thanks. All right. And Andrew liked my drinking problem joke. Yeah. And you're responding. Andrew's was the first student ever accepted to my platinum program. He's from California, but he lives in Toronto. And he was responding to, I spilled coffee, not once, folks, but twice today. Yeah. No excuse, but I did just set up this entire office for this green screen and disaster. Yeah. I make a lot of mistakes. All right. Next up, Tony is saying, hi, Chris. I signed up for your Platinum MBA program that starts in December. Awesome, Tony. I'm looking forward to working with you. Can you please explain if it is self-paced? I'm looking forward to engaging with you. Likewise. Thank you. Yeah. It is self-paced. So there's a couple ways to take it. One way is you can take it live with me, right? So I teach the sessions on Mondays and Tuesdays. Time zone 1 is from 9 a.m. till noon my time, plus Q&A. And then time zone 2 is also Monday and Tuesday, but from 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. my time plus Q&A. Then on Thursdays, after this general call, we have for MBA students only office hours. And then I do the one-on-ones as well that day. Now, I'm going to be doing the one-on-ones on many days next year because I'm not going to have to create as much new content. So I'll have a lot more time to dedicate to you, my customer, the students. So if you can't watch the lessons live, you can watch the replays. And the replays are saved on my Teachable page. And I'll explain all this on day 1 when we start on December 14th. And if you don't enjoy the program, you've got up until January 14th, 1 month after December 14th, to get your money back. But you can always watch replays of the lectures as well, including replays of the Q&A. Everything is documented for you. So you have access forever, and you can take it on a mobile phone, a desktop, a laptop, your television, whatever you want. Yeah. Thank you. I'm looking forward to working with you too. And then Tony wrote, thank you for sharing your talents with the whole world. You are enabling economic diplomacy locally and internationally. Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you. And if you get a chance, check out a speech I gave on my YouTube page called The Future of Education. It's a top video there on my YouTube page now. It's a speech I gave last week. And then Solly wrote, I had the 30-day challenge course. I watched half of it. Then I procrastinated for the remainder from the lesson about procrastination for a year. Yeah. I read a book once on procrastination, but I never finished it. Yeah. All right. Jordan Mendoza is saying, hi, Chris. Jordan, first time I've seen you here. Welcome. And I hope you join us again. Jordan is saying, hi, Chris. Thanks for all the great content. I'm not one of your MBA students, but I'd like to do it one day. I have one question for you. Can your MBA course help me as a junior mechanical engineer? Yeah. So I don't teach engineering stuff, but it can help you a lot in terms of understanding finance, accounting, how to network, how to sell yourself, how to start a company. And in Silicon Valley, there's a saying that it's easier to teach finance to an engineer than it is to teach engineering to a finance person. Yeah. But I think you'll get a lot out of it. Yeah. Or your money back. Okay. And Vipul is saying, good morning, Chris. Good morning to you too. I hope you're doing well. Next up, we have Suzanne, who's saying, can you please talk about consumer confidence? If memory serves me right, once Obama was not in office anymore and Trump was, many wealthy people repatriated their money. Yeah. So basically, what repatriating money means is bringing money from overseas that you have back into a country that you live in. And the reason people don't do it much is because taxes are lower in other countries. But sometimes governments will say, if you bring your money back this year, we'll tax you at a much lower rate. And so a lot of people repatriate or bring back their profits from overseas, which really helps the company and the economy. It helps the company because they can use that cash to invest to grow, or they can buy back shares, which makes the stock cheaper on a PE basis, for example. Yeah. Yeah. So when it comes to consumer confidence in general, so about 1/3 of the global economy, the global GDP, meaning revenue for the planet, about 1/3, close to 1/3, is United States. U.S. economy is massive. And people don't realize this, but 2/3 of the United States economy is consumer spending, not big business spending. It's consumer spending. And that's why the whole world watches very closely when the government, the United States, releases consumer confidence statistics every month or so. It's important, right? And so China is an export nation. They rely a lot on the United States. And so the Chinese government looks at consumer confidence numbers closely in the United States. That drives economic growth for a big part of the Chinese economy. Now, China is trying to be more insular focused, like they're trying to create their own economy internally without relying on other countries like the United States consumer. That will take decades. But for now, they look closely at the strength of the United States consumer. Yeah. And the way to improve consumer confidence is, well, number one, the economy is good. If it's good, then consumers are more confident and they spend more money. There's also two pieces of medicine that the government can use. One is called fiscal policy, and the other one is called monetary policy. Now, fiscal policy is basically the process of cutting taxes or creating stimulus programs to make consumption go up. Monetary policy is the policy of printing more money so that interest rates go down. And if interest rates are low, then what happens is people don't save as much money and they spend a lot more, right? Which helps the economy. So those are the two medicines, so to speak, that governments usually have. In the United States, the monetary policy body is called the Federal Reserve. In Canada and in many countries, it's called the Bank of Canada, or the European Central Bank. And in Japan, it's called the MOF, the Minister of Finance. Yeah. All right. Next up, Adonis is saying, thanks for your demo on how to enroll into the Silver program. You're welcome. So do I have to wait until the 14th of December to begin with you? No, with Silver, you can start right now. You know, Silver is 300 hours of on-demand videos. I've posted 225 hours so far, and I'll be posting the rest within the next 20 days. And you can take that at any point in time. You can sign up today and take it all within 30 days and ask for your money back if you want to. So there's a 30-day money-back guarantee. Yeah, but you don't get access to me. It's like Netflix. All right. Next up, Saber is saying, hi, Chris. Do you have hints or best practices in choosing a technology company name? Yeah. I mean, I like to keep it simplistic and short if possible. It's getting harder now because a lot of web addresses are taken. Like the days of simplistic names like apple.com are gone. So I would keep it short. I would check to see that you can actually get the web address, meaning a .com, not a .io, not a .net, a .com. And you might have to even create a brand new word. Kind of like Pierre Omidyar did with eBay when he registered ebay.com. Yeah. I would also see if you can do a survey using SurveyMonkey to find out if that name is offensive or interpreted as something different in different countries. So you can go to surveymonkey.com and set up a custom survey to ask people from different countries as well. You can set it up. It costs about $50 to do a custom survey, but it's worth it before you start your company. What I would also do is have a lawyer check to see if that company name has been taken or not. Yeah. So, and then you can also ask your friends as well. Like, send out a LinkedIn message and ask people to vote. What do they like better? I did that for my company when it came to my logo. I sent out a logo to a bunch of people. It looks like this now. And then they voted. So yeah, that's what you can do. Yeah. All right. And you got to be careful with names too, because I remember I did a case study when I was a lot younger, when I went to McGill University on consumer products companies. And there's this one shampoo company in Canada called Pert, P-E-R-T. And they made a version of that shampoo in the Quebec market as well, which is French. And pert sounds like lose, pech. And so they renamed it. Instead of P-E-R-T, they renamed it as P-R-E-T, which is prêt. And prêt means ready in French. Yeah. And there's a lot of mishaps from a lot of companies that think that the English version of their company name or slogan works overseas. And it's disastrous if you don't do your research. Like in China, for example, with Kentucky Fried Chicken, they had that saying campaign years ago, which is finger licking good. But in Mandarin, that translated, it means eat your fingers off. Yeah. And also certain colors are offensive in certain countries as well. So just do your research. Okay. All right. Next up, Sanjay is saying the last date for submission for our CV is November 23rd. And I'm actually in the first semester of my MBA. My MBA is 1 year long. Also, I'll be joining your financial analyst course. Thank you. And then you wrote that the job description says that candidates will usually have 2 years of work experience for investment banking associate position. Okay, cool. And if you have a question, let me know though as well, please. Thanks. Okay. And Vinny is saying, hi, Chris. I'm an IT graduate and I want to start a business, but I don't know in which area. Yeah. So what I would do is I would write a business plan first whenever you come up with an idea. Most people don't write a business plan. And that's why one of the reasons why most companies go belly up. It's one of the most important non-personal decisions of your life. It can affect your health, your well-being, your happiness, etc. And so if you want, you can take my MBA degree program, and I have what's called a venture capital boot camp in the 3rd semester, where I teach you how to start a company, and you write your own business plan. Or you can take a much shorter version of that by taking my complete business plan course. Yeah. Okay. Next up, Armin is saying, hi, Chris. I live in Germany, but I can't build up a team here, and I can't speak their language. Would you say moving to Canada would be better for me with respect to networking and building up a team for a startup? Yeah. That's a tough call because I really do believe that barriers to commerce have been eliminated because anybody can start a company in any country. And you can be a solopreneur initially. But for me, for example, I have employees all over the world. I don't just have them here in the United States, it's mainly overseas, actually. And for me, it doesn't really matter where they're based because we do everything remotely anyway. Yeah. So I would see first if you can start a company locally where you live. And, if you don't have to move to Canada to start a company. Yeah. Although I do love Canada because I'm Canadian. Yeah. All right, cool. Next up, the question is from Raul, which is, should I do a CFA or an FRM? And I'm very sorry, I don't know what an FRM means. Yeah. But a CFA is great. A CFA stands for a Certified Financial Analyst designation. It's better than an MBA, that's right, for finance. And it's more respected as well. And you don't have to quit your job. You can do a CFA at night. And it's self-study. And you write one exam every year for 3 years. Yeah, it's a lot of work though. All right. Next up, hold on a second, please. Next up, Daniel is saying, hey, Chris, thanks very much for answering my question earlier. I just have one more, if you don't mind. Yeah, as many as you want. I'm here for you, please. This is your time. And let me just change backgrounds here to something a little bit different. Sorry. Yeah. All right. The question is, I'm in Ireland, and I graduated from biochemistry last year. I've been working for a year, but I want to transfer my skills to banking/finance in the hope to move to London next year. I'm almost finished with your complete financial analyst course, and I was wondering if you have advice on your other courses I should complete to set my chances at best achieving my goals. And I love the videos. Thanks, Dan. Yeah. Yeah, no, thanks, Dan. I appreciate that. So, I would say I think my MBA degree program is great. I think it can help you a lot or your money back. If you don't want to do it over 1 year, meaning not the gold or platinum version, then you can take the silver version and start today, which is $499. And there's a 30-day money back guarantee, and you can go to learn.harounventures.com to access it. Yeah. If you just want to take one course, I recommend taking my complete job course as well, which will teach you how to interview, how to network, how to write a LinkedIn profile, etc. Yeah. All right. And then Tony says, when does your Platinum MBA start? I signed up 7 days ago. Yeah. So it starts on the, thank you for signing up. I appreciate that. It actually starts on the 14th of December. And I'll show you more details right here. Yeah. So if you go to HarounMBA.com, you can learn a lot more about it here, right? So this will tell you everything you need to know about the degree program. There's a bunch of sample lessons on this web page, etc. Yeah. So anyway, and then if for those of you that are interested in signing up, you can sign up here at HarounMBA.com. This is the Platinum program, tells you about it, and here's the Gold program, here and here. Yeah. And if you're interested in doing the Silver program, where you don't get access to me, you can go to learn.harounventures.com. And this is where all my courses are too. They're all here. Yeah. Including I have international versions of my MBA program, or my MBA course, my 8-hour course called An Entire MBA in One Course. Yeah. And this is Sasha Stevenson. I met her on this weekly call. I've never met her in real life, but I met her on this weekly call, week number 10. And she actually she has over 100 million YouTube views. She's an internet sensation. She's great. I learned a lot from her. But you can get details on everything I offer right here at learn.harounventures.com. And thank you. All right. Oops. All right. There we go. All right. And then Raul is saying, please tell me how to enter risk management in finance. Yeah. So I would say risk management is one of the more complex fields in finance because you have to understand portfolio diversification as well as option strategies, meaning upside, downside, and derivatives, and really understand risk versus reward. So what I would say is, like, take my complete financial analyst course if you want to, and sign up for my MBA degree program if you want much more details on that. But I think it comes down to networking, a lot of it. So what I would do is I would go to LinkedIn and do an advanced search and find people that work at financial institutions you're interested in working for. And what you can do is you can do an advanced search, enter the name of the company, and then enter in something personal about you that you want to find in common with somebody, like the name of the city that person is from or country and the university they went to. And then what you can do is you can send a short email. You can say, John, hope all is well. I'm also from Mississauga, which is where I'm from. I also went to the Toronto French School, which is where I went to school. Please let me know if you have time for a coffee. Thanks, Raul. And the reason, and find people obviously that work in risk management as well at these big financial institutions, and then just do an informational meeting with them. Get to know them. And in business, you never want to jump right into business. You always want to bond before business. It's a big rookie mistake in a sales meeting or an interview to jump right into business. You have to bond and talk about what you have in common for the first 10 minutes or so, and then let them guide where the meeting is going to go next, so to speak. Yeah. And just remember, relationships are always more important than product knowledge. Okay. Next question is from Luan, who's saying, hi, Chris. I like to build and improve my knowledge in the technology and software space. And I want to ask whether you could recommend any good resources and literature. Yeah. So when it comes to programming skills, there are two go-to teachers that I absolutely love, and I'll show you who they are. So one of them is Rob Percival. Okay, so let's go to Rob Percival. And he teaches online on Udemy. And I've taken his courses. They're great. He's a good guy. He's actually, he's based in Cambridge, and I went and I spent a day with him. He mentored me years ago. Good guy, because I asked. But he teaches a lot of technology courses. And if you're brand new to tech, I would start with the complete web developer course that he has. And he's got it in many different language versions as well. You'll find it here, complete web developer course. There's also, there's another great teacher here I want to mention. Hold on a second. Here she is here, yeah. Dr. Angela Yu, she's great. I met her in Berlin last year. And so she used to be a doctor, but she found out she's more passionate about teaching and teaching coding, and she is amazing. And so you can take her courses as well. So let me see here if I can get her profile. Yeah. Yeah, she's great. She's great. And a lot of my students have taken her courses. They love her. She's amazing. Yeah. So you can learn web development from scratch. You can also learn how to code in Python, make iOS apps, etc., etc. And she's a rock star. She's good. Yeah, that's how it started. Now, in terms of just general technology stuff, I love Engadget from a consumer tech perspective. Right, so, and I have to read this later, the Xbox Series X review. The problem with the Series X is there's no great launch titles that I want to buy. With the PS5, there's a great Spider-Man game, which is a great launch title, etc. But you can go to this website here to learn a lot more about consumer tech. You can also listen to a weekly podcast, which I love, and I've been listening to podcasts since July of 2005 when Apple first released them. My favorite podcast is called TWIT, T-W-I-T, which stands for This Week in Tech. And there's this brilliant man who lives not too far away from here named Leo Laporte, who talks about all the fun tech news from the last week. It's great. You'll love it. Another thing you can do is you can actually follow companies and listen to their earnings calls when they release earnings. And all companies that are big have investor relations portions on their websites. So just search for investor relations and the company name. And what you can do is you can get access to financial information at the same time that every other hedge fund or mutual fund or investment bank gets access to. It's something called Regulation FD, which Elliot Spitzer created back in 2002. FD means fair disclosure. So you have the exact same access at the same time as everybody else. And so you can watch their previous earnings release calls. You can read their financial documents, etc. Or what you can do is you can go to sec.gov, which is a United States government website mandated and watched by the Securities and Exchange Commission. And what you can do is you can search for tickers and read a lot more about a company. So, for example, let's do a search on Splunk, which is a great software company. And what you can do is you can read up on important press releases, which are called 8Ks, quarterly earnings reports, which are called 10Qs, and also 10Ks, which is the annual report. Okay. And the annual report is amazing because it basically gives you access to all of the weaknesses this company has, or companies have in general, right? And you can click here and go through sections and look directly at the financial statements, like the balance sheet, income statement, cash flow statement. Or you can read up and just do a search on the word risks here. So find risk. And there's 68 risks that are highlighted here. You can learn a lot more about this company. You can read about the management team, etc. There's a wealth of information. And before investing in any new IPO, what I recommend always doing is reading the document called the S1. And the S1 is like the annual report, but it's a little bit more detailed. And it provides investors with a better understanding of what the company does, their financial statements, as well as the risks. Yeah. Okay. And in terms of reading newspapers, the only one I kind of recommend is the Financial Times. which is kind of like the Wall Street Journal, but for the world. It's more global. But I don't want you to pay for it. I'm going to show you how to get it for free. And this is why I'm never sponsored, but I don't care. I put my students first. So if you go to ft.com, what you can do is they actually have really, oh, Biden's almost got it here. Yeah. They've got really, really good articles here. Don't read anything editorial. Just read articles on how the world works. Okay. So, for example, right here, U.S. registers 751,000 new jobless claims as COVID cases surge. Crazy year. So if I click this, I have to pay for it, but I'm going to show you how to get it for free. So I click it here, and it's like, whoa, you got to pay $40 a month. Screw that. So here's what you do. You copy this, okay? You paste it, and you search, and then you click here, and now you can read it for free. Why does that work? Well, it works, and it doesn't work with all newspapers. It works because if the FT didn't allow that to work, then their articles would not be indexed on Google from a search engine optimization perspective. So hopefully that helps. And if you have additional questions, as always, let me know, and thank you. Yeah. Whoops, wrong camera. Okay. All right. Next up, Melody. Melody John. So Melody is an amazing teacher based in Atlanta. She has great courses on Udemy. She wrote a book as well, and she's joining me actually in my MBA degree program as a gold student starting December 14th. I'm looking forward to having you, Melody. Thank you. So Melody wrote, "Hello, Chris. I like this new background look. Thank you. I'm only okay with it. Like I find that it's the color isn't perfect in my face, but it's kind of fun. Trying something different. Yeah." Then you wrote, I hope you're having a great day. Thank you, likewise. Then you wrote, wow, 112 episodes. You should be proud of how much you've impacted people's lives. Thank you. I appreciate that. And I love my students. My students inspire me so much. But, dude, I can't believe it's been 112 weeks. And if we go back and look at the first week versus week 112, the quality is much, much better. My God, we've been doing this for more than 2 years now. And since I told my students I'm going to be doing a weekly call forever 2 weeks ago, or 2 years ago, on that day, I also setting a vlog every day forever. And I haven't missed a single day. And we're on day 850 now, I think, or something like that. Yeah, it's been fun. And thank you for being a part of it, too. Okay. And then Melody wrote, thank you so much for your kindness. I strive to be always like you, Chris. Thank you. God bless you. I appreciate that. Thank you. And then Tony is saying, I'm going to buy you a cup cover. And if you're just joining this webcast, I spilled my coffee not once, but twice today. Right? I spilled it on this side because my studio is kind of a mess. I've got a green screen set up here. And then I put my coffee cup over here. And then I spilled it again. And it breaks my heart because I put it, this was on the floor, my favorite poster, which is from Malala. One child, one teacher, one book, one pen can change the world. That's coffee on the top there. Yeah. So. Then Tony wrote, I'm going to buy you a cup cover. You're just passionate with your delivery method with the use of your hands. The coffee stain looks good on the poster, keeping it real. All right, you know what, dude? I'll keep it like that then. Yeah. There you go. Thank you. Appreciate that. Yeah. And it spilled all over my GoPro, but these things are indestructible, right? We're good with that. And Melody's saying, are you coming out with another course soon? Yeah, two this month actually. Yeah. One of them is a joint venture I did with U.S. Bank, which is one of the largest banks in the country, and the second oldest bank in America as well. And I think you'll enjoy that one. And another one is a French version of my entire MBA in one course, the 8-hour course, which I'm doing with one of my students named Vital, who's from Rwanda. And the use of proceeds are going to be to build a school in Rwanda, many schools actually. Yeah, and so he's doing most of the work. I sent him a big DHL package, which finally arrived to him. And DHL stands for Don't Hurry, Lad, which finally arrived to him, which has a camera in it and all the equipment. And so we're we're going to do it in French. He's going to speak most of the French because my French is not that great. I try. But both those courses will be out before Black Friday. Next up is Ruby, which says, have you read your student's book? I haven't read all of them. Yeah, I've skimmed some of them, but I just don't have the bandwidth to read all of them. Yeah, but I do buy all of them and show them on the air. And for those of you interested in writing a book, what you can do is you can actually go to my website, and I'm going to give you a template on how to write a book. And who does that, man? Who writes a book? If you write a book, you'll impress people in interviews for jobs or informational meetings, or when it comes to getting customers. So I'll show you how to do it. It's really easy. All you do is you go to my website, harounventures.com/write-book. That's all one word, lowercase. And then what you do is you click here to download a free template. And then it's basically, if you know how to use Microsoft Word, you can do this. So this template is for a 6-inch by 9-inch book. And on one page, it tells you the instructions on how to get it on Kindle, as well as the paper version on Amazon, as well as Audible for Amazon. Here it is. And so all you do is you fill in the blanks here, okay? And then when you're done, you just right-click here in Word and update the table of contents. Yeah. But only good things can happen if you write a book. I promise you that. Yeah. Oops. We go here. 1 second. There we go. Good. All right. All right. And then next up, Muhammad is saying, how do you break bad habits or addictions? Yeah. So there's something I learned from Tony Robbins years ago, and Tony's he's a great guy. I've met him outside of his conferences. He invested in one of my companies years ago. He's the real deal, by the way. But Tony Robbins talks about pain and pleasure. So let's say that there is a big piece of chocolate cake in front of you, and you want to consume it, but you know that the health effects are going to be bad. So you got to think in terms of pain and pleasure. So the pleasure of consuming that piece of chocolate cake, now I'm hungry, is this. The pain is this, because you'll gain weight, get acne, whatever it is. And so always think of things in terms of pain and pleasure. And your questions about addictions. Let's say it's alcohol. Well, the pleasure and I don't drink. I don't drink anymore. But I don't drink any less. No, I don't drink at all. So with alcohol, the pleasure is, I don't know, it'll make me a little bit less stressed out for a little while. The pain is it destroys your liver, and you do stupid things when you drink as well. So you got to think of it in terms of pain and pleasure. And just the same thing with drugs, whatever it is. Yeah, you get that quick fix for a short amount of time. But the pain part is you can die, for example. Yeah. So that's what I would say when it comes to bad habits or addictions. And I'm not saying that it's only drugs or alcohol, but just think of everything in terms of pain and pleasure. And also substitute as well. So for example, if drinking alcohol makes you feel good, or drugs, then instead of that, do weights, because that high you get from doing weights is amazing. It creates natural endorphins or serotonin. And no one's ever gone to the gym and after working out has said, God, I wish I didn't work out. Said no one ever. So substitute as well. Substitute. And also, if you want to break a bad habit, tell other people that you're doing it too. Okay? Because it'll put pressure on you, and I say it with love my heart, whenever you see them and they say, have you stopped consuming whatever it is? That sort of thing. Yeah. So just replace it with something that's more enjoyable. Yeah. All right. Next up, Casey is saying, what are the best websites to view consumer confidence status? Yeah. So, United States government releases consumer confidence stats, and there's government websites you can look at. Let's go there together. All right, let's go here, and let's go to consumer confidence. All right, here it is here, government website.org, the conference board. Yeah. Oh, you also got, let me cancel here. You've also got leading indicators from the OECD website as well for consumer confidence. Let's see what else we got here. Yeah. It gets repurposed as well by all the leading publications like Bloomberg, Businessweek, etc. So you can go here to learn more about consumer confidence index. It looks like you can probably download data as well for different countries if you want to. Right, so this will take a second to populate here. So, for example, here we're looking at consumer confidence right here, and we see that it dropped materially in the first half of 2020 for obvious reasons. Right, things are bouncing back now, thank God. But this is actually a pretty good website here. So you go to data.oecd.org. And then what you can do is you can even download this data if you want to a CSV file, which means comma separated file. And then what you can do is just you can open it up in Excel if you want to play around with the numbers as well. Yeah. All right. All right. Next up. I still can't believe I spilled my coffee twice today. I have spilled coffee a lot in my life, but never twice in one day. All right. Next question is, what are your thoughts on import trends changing due to COVID and the best countries for manufacturing? Yeah. So it's tough. And I remember we used to do channel checks on the United States economy to try to understand before everybody else did on how things are progressing. And what we used to do is we used to look at the ports in Los Angeles. And if there was a lot of transport vehicles or boats, whatever, coming from China to the ports in Los Angeles, it kind of told us that the economy is starting to pick up because demand is picking up. So that's what we looked at in general. In terms of import trends, I mean, I think that global trade is going to, from a volume perspective, is going to see much slower growth because I think that people are going to have digital rights to products instead. Like my kids, they don't have as many toys as I did growing up because they own digital rights to stuff in the cloud, video games, etc. So that's one way to think about it. In terms of manufacturing, I think it's always going to be it's Darwinianism when it comes to lowest cost providers. Whoever can make it the cheapest, tends to win. And right now it's China, but hopefully other countries are more competitive in the long run because competition is good for the consumer. Yeah. All right. And then Sanjay is saying, I have 0 years of work experience. Is it possible for me to get hired for an associate position at Goldman Sachs in London with me at my first MBA semester? I don't see why not. I mean, all big companies like Goldman, they hire people that have no work experience. I worked with tons of them when I was there. Yeah. And they put you through a training program as well. Yeah. You just got to network, which is what I talked about earlier in the call. All right. And then Sanjay wrote, the last day for submission is November 23rd, I guess, for the MBA program you're applying to. And you wrote, also my ambition is to work for a hedge fund, but I don't see any job openings in hedge funds. Seems like there are not that many job openings for hedge funds and investment banks in London. Is it true? Yeah. So I would say in general, of course, companies are hiring a lot less this year because of COVID, especially the United Kingdom. It's been tough. There was one quarter earlier this year for the United Kingdom where GDP, which is a measure of revenue for the country, GDP dropped 20% year over year. I don't even think it happened in World War II that bad. It's rough, man. And Boris recently, I mean, you live there, you know better than I do. He announced that for 4 weeks, everyone has to self-quarantine. Yeah, so it's a tough time to network and find a job. It's not impossible. You could still do it. But what I would do is I would network a lot with people that work at these companies you want to work at. And hopefully when things improve, they'll remember you. And if you're persistent and you add enough value to them and help them a lot, then you'll get that gig. Yeah. And just remember, in business, whenever you do an informational meeting, people are usually motivated by 3 things in business. Number 1, they want to make more money. Number 2, they want to get promoted faster. And number 3, they want to enjoy work more. And so find a way to add value to one of those 3 aforementioned criteria when you meet with these people. And you can take my complete job course, because I teach you about that in a lot more detail. And my MBA degree program, I go into way more detail on this, on how to add a ton of value and network and take your game to the next level. Yeah. But it's tough, though. It is tough, obviously. Hedge funds are always tough, dude, because hedge funds are usually smaller. They don't have that many employees. And they don't really advertise we're looking to hire somebody, right? It's just word of mouth. And so the way to get your foot in the traffic, so to speak, or foot in the door, is to set up a lot of informational meetings with the big hedge funds, like I guess GLG there in United Kingdom, and there's a bunch of others. Citadel's got a big office there too. I used to work at Citadel, big hedge fund. It's just smaller. They hire fewer people. That's it. Yeah. So you got just take my complete job course or my MBA degree program, and I'll teach you how to interview better than anybody you know. Yeah. All right. And next up, Mamadou is saying, hi Chris, bon retour. Thank you. J'espère que tout va bien chez toi et ta famille. Merci beaucoup. Thank you. Things are great with my family and I. Thank you. Likewise, I hope things are great for you as well. And please pardon my awful French. Yeah. And then Cybersecurity wrote, thanks for your reply to my question, Chris. My pleasure. And I have another question. How do you outsource properly to create one course on Udemy? Okay. Is that a question? Like create a course on how to outsource, or how do you outsource stuff so you can create a course on Udemy? Yeah. Just clarify, and I'll be humbled to answer that question. Thank you. I'm so sorry for not reading it properly. Yeah. And then you're asking me, you're okay. And then you got a follow up here. You're saying, create a course on outsourcing. Yeah. Yeah. I teach a lot of that stuff in my MBA degree program in terms of how I outsource a lot of my my key tasks, like video editing, as well as social media stuff as well. And I always believe in having fewer employees and paying much more money for technology. Because I think that, too many employees in any one meeting, for example, becomes catastrophic. Nothing gets done. And you've all lived through it. You've been in group meetings at school or in business where nothing gets done because there's just too many people in that room. And Jeff Bezos at Amazon has a rule, which is no meeting can ever take place that requires more than 2 pizzas to feed people in the room. And that way he keeps his teams very, very small. I keep my company very small too. I outsource a ton of stuff. And I also use a lot of technology. I use a lot of marketing automation as well. And I spend a lot of money on technology. But spending a lot of money on technology is a hell of a lot cheaper than hiring a lot of people. Yeah. And I give my employees the best technology as well, so we can accomplish a lot more together. Yeah. But I do outsource a ton of stuff, everything I can, because I feel that, like, you got to ask yourself, what business are you in? And for me, it's teaching. And everything I do that's not adding value to you, my customers, my students, is a waste of time. And so I try to outsource everything else. So my job is to create content, and my job is to help my students, take their careers to the next level. Everything else I do is a waste of time. And so I outsource all that stuff. Yeah. And I have backup as well, just in case one person can't do it one day, whatever. Yeah. And then you're saying make one real estate investment management course. Yeah. I'm not an expert in real estate. I've done a lot of real estate investing. The most recent purchase was I bought a building in London, Ontario, which is where I was born. That's an hour and a half south of Toronto. And it's gone well because the 5 units in that smaller building are more than paying for the mortgage. Yeah, maybe I'll do something. I just feel like I'm not the expert in that area. And then Michael wrote, I'm just about finished with your complete business plan course. Thank you. And then you wrote, it's been so helpful, in caps. Thank you. And I'm also working through the Introduction to Finance, Accounting, Modeling, Evaluation course. Thank you. And you wrote here, it has helped me understand income statement, balance sheet, and cash flow statements. And it's made starting my business much easier and less stressful. Thank you. I'm glad to hear that. And then Michael wrote, you're such an inspiration. Thank you. And I'm so grateful I found your courses and get to learn from your expertise and your authentic, transparent character. Thank you. God bless you, Michael. I appreciate that. God bless you. Thank you. Thank you. I'm so transparent that I told you I spilled my coffee twice today on the left side and the right side. And I spilled it on my favorite poster on the floor here, Malala. Yeah. It looks kind of cool though that way. Yeah. Yeah. Dude, it's amazing. This is week 112, and I still make so many mistakes. I'm such an idiot. Yeah. And this is probably the last time I'll do green screen. Yeah. Thank you. God bless you, Michael. All right. And next up, we've got Ashira is saying, hi, Chris. Hey, hope you're doing well. What are some crucial skills that no one talks about but are super important to master? Yeah. So I would say, and this goes hand in hand with why I do what I do. Business schools don't teach you the most important skills, and universities don't, to get you up and running and take your career to the next level. So the first one is networking. You're not taught how to network ever. I don't know why. I teach my students in my MBA degree program how to network a lot. And relationships are more important than product knowledge. And so what I recommend you do, this is for everybody, this is homework, please, is to read a book by Dale Carnegie called How to Win Friends and Influence People. It's a bizarre title, but it'll teach you about how to deal with people. As Dale Carnegie once said, that we have to understand that in business, people are quite often creatures of emotion and not creatures of logic. And so Dale Carnegie teaches you how to talk to people in business and all aspects of life. Again, read that book. It's called How to Win Friends and Influence People. It was written in the 1930s. If you don't have time to read it, just get the Audible version, which is what I love to do. So that's one skill. Another skill is how to interview. Like schools don't teach you those skills. It's crucial. It's crucial. Networking and interviewing or informational meetings. The most successful people in business and in life are great salespeople. That's what an entrepreneur is. That's what a CEO is. That's what a political leader, for better or for worse, is. Right? They're great salespeople. You're not taught how to sell in any schools. Business schools don't teach how to sell. It's ridiculous. Another skill is, how to manage your own personal money. I have an MBA in finance from a great university. And I graduated. And a couple of years after graduation, I called my buddies that graduated with me. And I was like, dude, we were taught how to manage other people's money. But I want to buy an apartment. How does a mortgage work? And they're like, dude, I don't know. I had to call my mom. Mom, Dad, how does a mortgage work? So you're not taught how to manage your own money. You're also not taught about how to file taxes. You're not taught about how to save for retirement or for your kids or tax shelters. These are important life skills you need to know, to be successful in the real world. It's not taught in school. It's ridiculous. And it's a big pain point for me. And it's why I do what I do. It's why I have this MBA degree program. It's why I teach online. It's ridiculous. And there's so many other skills too, like how to present, how to give a presentation. That's kind of important. If you can't present and feel comfortable around people and convince them to buy a product or service or invest in you, then you'll never reach your full potential in life. They don't teach that in school. It's crazy. They don't teach that to you, but they should. They also don't teach you how to have great time management skills the list goes on and on and on, which is why I do what I do. Yeah. All right. Next up, hey Chris, in addition to your course, do you have any book recommendations for financial accounting and company valuation? I find that a lot of textbooks are very theoretical, which is why I never use them, and they bore me to tears. But if you want to use a textbook, what I recommend is doing research on a great NYU professor called Damodaran. And Damodaran has written some great finance books. You can check that out if you want to. Or you can read The Intelligent Investor, which is Warren Buffett's favorite book. It's a little bit dry, but it'll tell you about investing longer term. And Warren Buffett, he taught one of my classes at Columbia when I did my MBA there. And he and his wife were in the class, and God bless her, she passed away. But his wife was teasing him that day, because she said that Warren Buffett brought one book on his honeymoon, which was The Intelligent Investor. And he spent a lot of time reading it. It's kind of funny. Yeah. So that's a decent book, I guess. It's dry. It is dry. So if you're going to read it, get up half an hour early every day and read it for the first 30 minutes. Aside from that, I can't really think of any great finance, accounting, or valuation courses. I really can't. Or books. You can take my complete financial analyst course. That will help you out a lot. Or take my MBA degree program. That'll help you out way, way more. Or your money back. Yeah. All right. Next up, Michael is saying maybe you should ask for a sippy cup for your coffee for Christmas. I should, dude. I should. It's so ridiculous. I came in here, I spilt it. I sent my wife, God bless her, a text to bring me a coffee, and she was going on her morning run. It was great. She brought me the morning coffee, and then I spilled it again. So I do have a drinking problem, folks. Yeah. Ridiculous. Yeah. But I bought Christine for Christmas, and this is a green cup. Looks kind of funny, but it's got a flower on the side. Christine's cup. But what I did was I bought Christine, my wife, for Christmas a coffee cup, and on the coffee cup it says, "I just attended another meeting that could have been an email." Yeah. All right. I do need a sippy cup though. Yeah. And then Casey is saying, are there any courses that you can recommend for identity protection and keeping devices secure? Yeah, I don't know of any. But what I do recommend is if you travel a lot, make sure that you have an RFID wallet. Okay, so I don't have it right now, but I have another iPhone holder I made myself, which has an RFID wallet I put on it, which basically means, or RFID blocking wallet. It means that nobody can get your credit cards, because people can actually get your credit cards if they walk by you wirelessly. It's true. It's crazy. Yeah. So, yeah. And then you wrote here, also, do you have any thoughts on regular maintenance on devices, such as clearing history on website data, managing cookies, etc.? Yeah. So I use a Mac, and I think the antivirus software on a Mac doesn't make sense. I know that's controversial. On Windows, it absolutely does. But on a Mac, for what I do at least, it's a disaster. The way these companies like Symantec, which owns the Norton brand, they try to help your computer run faster and get rid of viruses, yet they're the most annoying software products ever because there's lots of pop-ups. So it doesn't make any sense. On Windows you have to, but Mac it's kind of based on the next Unix kernel that Steve Jobs pioneered when he left Apple, which means it's robust. I've never heard of anyone really having big issues with Mac when it comes to security. But Apple or Windows a lot more so, because you run executables, right? Which is running code in the background. With a Mac, it usually blocks that sort of thing. If you have to use antivirus products, please don't ever use anything from Kaspersky, which is a Russian company, which the Russian government has used to spy on people. It's true. Just do a search on it, you'll see it. You can use McAfee if you want. or you can use Nord, and just know it's going to slow down your computer a lot. Yeah. Aside from that, obviously change your passwords a lot. I change mine all the time. Yeah. Yeah, and I have security cameras up everywhere in my house too, outside and everything. Yeah. Yeah. Because a lot of times when people come to your house, it could be a delivery person, and 99.9% of them are good people, of course, or somebody to do work in your house. They can be scouts. So, but I have tons of cameras. And if you want, you can even get cameras from a company called Arlo, which is a spin-off from Netgear, which works out well. Yeah. In terms of website data, yeah, a lot of times when I'm shopping, I'll go into private mode, because if you don't do that, cookies and websites know where you've been searching from, and they can make stuff more expensive that way. And I have a plugin that you got to get called Honey, which PayPal bought for $4 billion, which gets me the lowest prices on every product and every website, which is great. Yeah. And then next up, and if I missed anybody's question, just paste it again, please. Guraraj is saying, I graduate next year from engineering. Is it really necessary to have work experience for an MBA to apply for universities or your MBA program? No, you don't need any work experience. You don't even need an undergraduate degree to join my MBA degree program. If you want to join, you can sign up today. All you have to do is just go to HarounMBA.com. So here, HarounMBA.com. You can sign up right here for the platinum or gold versions right here. And if you want to do the silver version, what you can do is you can go to learn.harounventures.com. So right here, and click here on the silver version. And if you have questions about the degree, I have a massive FAQ, frequently asked questions, on my website right here. And you can also, I have a lot of students that have written testimonials. You can click to go to their LinkedIn profiles, contact them if you want to, or just go into to LinkedIn and do this. Oh, here, and the FAQs are here as well. Pricing and FAQs, they're here. You can just scroll down here and important dates, requirements, all that stuff, whatever. And then MBA student verification from people that have graduated, if companies want to check up on them. Yeah. So anyway, that's helpful stuff, I hope, yeah. All right. And you can even go to, you can even go to LinkedIn. I'll go to my LinkedIn profile here. And I think I'm in incognito mode, so let me go here. LinkedIn. And then what you can do is you can actually go and just find people that are alumni of the program. So you just go to, I guess, my profile. There's a Haroun Education's MBA page. It's kind of a new page. And then you can go and find members, people that have actually, that have taken this, that are alumni. So if you go here to alumni, and then here, there's 140 people as of now, and what's the date today? Today is November 5th, 2020. You can find people and just reach out to them and ask them questions. Ask them for, what are the pros and what are the cons? Here's Akil, who's starting a company now. He's in Hypervet. He's one of my great students here as well. Yeah, great guy too. Yeah. So when you reach out to people that have taken the program, just to be intellectually honest, just always start out by asking them what are the negatives, and then say what are the positives as well. Yeah, if you want to reach out to them, and they're all happy, I'm sure, to talk to you. Yeah. All right. All right. And next up, Dave Capel. Hey, Dave, how are you? Dave's one of my wonderful platinum students. Really smart guy, really funny guy too. I always enjoy my conversations with him in our one-on-ones. Yeah. And I smile because he's a funny guy, but also because whenever I see his name, David Capel, I think of Dave Chappelle, who's hysterical. And I saw Dave Chappelle actually present here at the Google Amphitheater in Mountain View a couple of years ago. And dude, I laughed so hard until it hurt. Like, that guy's delivery, Chappelle, is amazing. It's kind of like what Maya Angelou said. People might not remember what you said, but they'll never forget the way you made them feel. Yeah, and Chappelle's great. Yeah. And then David wrote here, hey, Chris, do you know the Sophos antivirus for Mac? I actually don't. I'm so sorry. I've never done research on that. Yeah. And then Mr. Nitro, which is Dave. Dave is joining us. He's one of our platinum students starting on December 14th. He's a great guy. And he's saying passwords are like underwear. Don't leave them around. Don't share them, and change them often. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And then Dave is so Dave was on an open house call I had a couple weeks ago for the MBA program, and I mentioned that I love Reese's peanut butter cups, and he sent me a big box full of Reese's peanut butter cups. Thank you, buddy. Appreciate that. Very, very kind of you. Thank you. And then Dave's been on this webcast for years, and so 2 years ago, he found out I was from Canada, and his wife's from Canada. His wife actually, her family lives in Brampton, which is where I used to live in Canada. And so he sent, and I'm homesick, and so he sent me a Tim Hortons mug and a bunch of other Canadian candy as well. I love you, brother, and I'm so happy you're joining us for the Platinum program as well. Thank you. Next up is Michael is saying, I'm working on developing 2 small businesses that will take about 4 to 6 more months to complete. I have most of the pieces in place and just need to complete the steps. Would I be better off focusing my time on completing those first and getting them up and running first, and then taking the MBA program next year? Or should I delay the startup process and enroll in the MBA program now? Yeah. Don't delay the startup process. And we should all be writing business plans on the side, always. And never start a company without writing a business plan first. But Michael, what you can do is you can start it now. Sign up today if you want. And if you don't have time to finish it within 1 year, you can take as long as you want. And if you join the Platinum program as well, and if you want one-on-one meetings, I'm happy to run through your business plan with you in a lot of detail. You get 3 hours of one-on-ones. Yeah. And it can be broken up into 20-minute increments. And that's why I actually have, like today, this is going to look out there, but up top here, I have, that's my hand there, hey there, I have a timer. So we have 20-minute meetings today, right? And I like to stand up, that's why it's up there, and walk on my treadmill when I do these meetings sometimes. So let me just get back into character here. Hey there. Yeah, but I would sign up now. And if it's not helpful, and if you sign up now, you get your money back all the way up through January 14th, 100% of next year. And if you sign up and you figure, you know what, it's not helping me, or I need the extra cash now, then get your money back. Yeah. And then Luan is saying, thanks again for answering my previous question, Chris. Very helpful. I'm based in London, and are the founder or CTO of a company with strong program skills. My pleasure. That's why I'm here. This is fun for me. Yeah, cool. Excellent. All right. So I want to thank you all for your time. This has been a fun session. Thank you for your patience with me spilling my coffee, not once, but twice. 2 data points make a trend. A question just came up. So the question is from Luan, which is, where can I find a co-founder, like a program? Yeah. So I recommend going to Meetup events. And Meetup is this website where you can actually go to any type of meeting you want in any country in the world for free. And given COVID, in some regions of the world, it might be virtual ones like Zoom-based, for example. So let me show you. So if we go to together at meetup.com, let's go here, Meetup. Yeah, meetup.com. And you can enter in wherever you live, and because of cookies, it knows I'm close to this area here. And say you want to find somebody that's, I don't know, good at Python programming. And you want to find your Wozniak and your Steve Jobs. You want to find your Woz. Well, here you can go to Python Coding Practice Lab. and meet with people as well. There are events, right? This one here, for some reason, it came up here, Seattle AI Talk about Python and Apache. So anyway, that's what you can do if you want to. And it's not just for the Bay Area, it's for anything. And you can find a meetup for anything as well, like a book club. Just click on that for a second. And you can find people that want to meet to talk about books. And this one's an online event here. And this is something I haven't seen before, online event, that logo there. Before it used to be just in person, but because of COVID, you can do it this way as well. And so all you have to do is enter in your country. Let me do Mississauga. That's where I'm from, Mississauga, Ontario. And I guess it's book club. Okay. 21 lessons. That's Toronto. It's right by Mississauga where I'm from. 21 lessons for the 21st century. This is an online event as well. Yeah. Yeah. Or if you want to talk about Michelle Obama, her book, there's 31 people meeting there. Right. And they're online now a lot because of, yeah. But when the world gets back to normal, you'll be able to do anything you want. Or, yeah, Riyadh. Let's see Riyadh. These might not be online. Let's see. Book clubs. Yeah. So this one here is in Riyadh. It's not online. There's, I guess, 22 people going or whatever it is. And it's November 9th at 8 a.m. So let's click on this. And this is just for books. Yeah, it's a public group, and location is visible to members. So once you register, and it's free, and there's 3 spots left to go to this book event. And I don't speak Arabic. Yeah. So the only Arabic word I can say is khamsa, because my dad's Egyptian. And when I was 5, I said, Dad, how do I say my name in Arabic? It's khamsa. That's all I know. I also know, hey, Habibi. That's what they call me, my parents. Yeah, but you can find it for anything here as well. Any type. And this is a great way to network as well. And it's free. It's free. Yeah. So hopefully you enjoy using that. All right. Let me get back into character here. Bigger mode. Hey. All right. And then Sri wrote, hey man, you're an inspiration. Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you. And then Michael wrote, muito obrigado. Enjoy your day. Thank you. Appreciate that. The only reason I know that obrigado, that word, is because Abbey Road, there's a song called Sun King. And they say obrigado in that song. That's the second last song or third last, one of the last songs on Abbey Road for the Beatles. And then Sri Rup is saying, please keep creating the great content you've been creating. Thank you. I will forever. 50 Cent used to say, I'm going to get rich or die trying. For me, I'm going to teach or die trying. Yeah, this is what I enjoy doing. I love it. Yeah. So thank you all for being here. Next up, Naga is saying, I see your MBA program is practically very useful in life for people. It's an excellent idea. I admire your idea and the way you conduct the sessions. Thank you. You are indeed doing a great service to mankind. Thank you. I appreciate God bless you. Thank you for that. Thank you. It's been fun. And we're just getting started. And this is week 112, and I still make a ridiculous amount of mistakes. Again, I spilled my coffee twice today, not just once, but twice. So I don't know, maybe you guys shouldn't sign up because I'm kind of like an absent-minded professor. I'm transparent though. Just kidding. You'll be happy or your money back. And then Naga wrote here, same time, honestly, I would like to know one thing. How about putting MBA from Haroun Ventures? Would it be seen by employers rather than MBA from a university? Just curious. Yeah. So I will never, ever, 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 ever make this accredited. I think universities are in secular decline. I think most universities are going to go bankrupt in our lifetime. So I will never allow a standards body tell me what I can and can't teach. Plus, if I did the accreditation, it would end up being thousands of dollars per student, and it would be bogus because there are certain things I'd have to teach which are theoretical and out of date and won't help you. Yeah. So, and I'd have to jack up prices too, and I want to make this accessible for everybody and run this thing at barely break even. Yeah. Okay. And then George is saying, how will the students who have paid for the platinum be contacted? Yeah, you'll never hear from me again. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. No. We have all of your names. I can look it up in a database right now, and don't worry, we'll be contacting you many times before the December 14th start date. And again, you can get your money back all the way through January 14th of 2021. Yeah. It will you will love it or your money back. Yeah. And no other business schools do that. And if you don't hear, just let me know. And yeah, our customer service is amazing. Yeah, a company is only as good as its customer service. Yeah. Three Rope wrote, just asking, why don't you do endorsements of any sort? Yeah, I don't want to sell out. I get asked all the time. All the time. I get 6-figure offers to sell my YouTube channel or do whatever it is. I won't do it because then I won't be putting the customer first, and it'll feel like a job and not a passion. And I don't want to bias anybody. I don't. It's unethical. Even if I disclose, it's unethical for me to talk about why you have to buy a GoPro. Like if GoPro's paying me, which they're not. And I have the GoPro 9 as well. This is the 7. Don't waste your money. I won't do it. I want this to be pure. I want this to be transparent. I want it to be unbiased, completely unbiased. I don't want to ever have to. I'm not a sellout. I put the students first. I put the customer experience, students before profitability. Always. The customer always comes first. And if you have endorsements, whatnot, then it's just not. I'm not being ethical if that's the case. Yeah. And again wrote, thank you. You're most welcome. Christina, how are you? Christina wrote here, good morning, Chris. I like your emoji too. It was great to watch you last week on your Startse virtual conference. Thank you. Your presentation was amazing. I got Christian's cousin in Brazil to sign up to watch you as well. Thank you. I'm glad you enjoyed it. It was, dude, it was an insane amount of work, but I thoroughly enjoyed every second. And when it was done, I was sad. It's kind of like when you read a good book, when I used to read books, and you get to the last page and you're like, oh, it's over. That's part of me. I thoroughly enjoyed it. Yeah, it was fun. And I tried new things too. And I took risks, and I failed a couple times during it. You'll see. If you watch the whole thing, you'll see a couple places where I made mistakes. But I had fun up there, man. It was fun. Yeah. And thank you for watching. I appreciate it. And then next up, Luan wrote here, you were impressive. Thanks for all your efforts and help. My pleasure. Thank you. Yeah, very cool. Yeah, it was fun. It was fun. And for those of you that want to watch a replay, you can always watch it at my YouTube channel. It's called The Future of Education. There's a lot of props, and when I teach, I like to be very visual. It's kind of like show and tell. Like when you were younger in school, you remember what products your friends brought in for show and tell, but you have no idea what the teacher said that day. And so I love to teach with a lot of visuals, like little things like I had a case study recently where we talked about the Rodin sculpture. I think therefore I am Rodin. I don't even know. Yeah. But anyway, no, it's fun for me. Yeah, and I get the kids involved too. Like during that speech, kids helped me out with this. There was a blackboard behind me, and there was chalk on it where I drew the flux capacitor, and the kids had fun as well. Get to bond with my kids. Yeah, it's fun. Yeah. So yeah, excellent. Well, I wanna thank you all for your time. Within 24 hours of this call being completed, you can always go to the description field and see a list of all questions that were asked and get immediate access by clicking on them to the answers. Yeah, so my team will put that up within 24 hours in the description field here. And then Power Captain Solutions just wrote, thanks for all you do, Chris. You're a great mentor and inspiration to many. Thank you, and God bless you. I appreciate it. And so if you're one of my MBA degree students in my platinum and gold programs, I'll see you today. I'll see you today at 11:15 a.m. for MBA students only office hours, and then I've got one-on-ones with a lot of my students as well. And if you subscribe to my vlog, I will see you every single day at 9 a.m. my time. That's when our vlogs drop, yo. Otherwise, God bless you all. Stay healthy and safe. Have a great weekend, and I'll see you next Thursday and every Thursday forever, starting at 8 a.m. Pacific time. Thank you.